Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take revenge on your device, just like my iPad, phone, laptop.
Everything you have.
Critically full
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Are you used to it being almost the end of March?
Don't make no sense.
You got here quick.
Don't make no sense.
It's going fast.
It's gonna be Thanksgiving before we know it.
Cool. I like turkey. I like turkey a lot. All right, let's go around the room. Say who you are and what drum company you love.
My name is Barry, and I tend to lean towards Pearl, but I ain't mad at any of them. A good drum is a good drum. Period.
Right.
I agree.
I'm Jason. Lean more toward Tama.
Or
Is it
Tom.
Tama or Tama?
I've always heard from Tama.
That's who I.
Brad
right
Canada said it was Tama
Look,
50 years ago.
I tried to find the president when I was at the NAMM show. I couldn't find him anywhere because I was like, I'm gonna go to the source here.
See how it's said.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
Yeah, probably all
the
wrong.
Japanese guy and try to figure out how you say this thing. But he wasn't around, and so I got all these other guys there, and they work for the company. I'm like, well, it's Tama. And I go to the next guy, it's Tama. All right, that's what I thought.
Call it what you like.
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, I knew a girl named Tama, and like 9th grade, and then I'm flip on MTV, and I'm like, I'd never noticed the name on the drumhead.
My
before
mother-in-law's
until-
name is Tama.
Really?
Is it Tama?
It's Tama.
So
Is it-
it's
is
spelled
it-
the same
is it
way.
spelled the same way?
No, it's Tomia.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's Tomia.
That's
But
it. Yeah.
it's way
So
too
I
phonetic.
called Tommy one time. This was decades ago, and I said, "Dude, is it Tama or Tama?"
And he cussed you out.
No, he did not. Not that time. But his response was, "Do you call your mother Mama or Mama?" And I'm like, okay. But I still know a chick named Tama, so I took Tommy's word for it because I figured he's dealt with the distributors or whatever, and I thought you would too. And then you're always saying Tama, so it's like nobody knows.
That's just what I heard when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dave.
Dave, Pearl, I guess.
Ben, I'll always play Tama.
Patrick. I used to be a DW guy until I had to replace some parts on one the other day. And $30 for a tension rod 6-pack. It's kind of,
Yeah, crazy.
but no, I'm getting really into now that there's a lot of these smaller companies and everybody's doing great stuff. So
Do you have an SJC kit now?
I have one of the older ones before they started going to like selling guitar centers and whatnot. And I love it. It's great.
They're nice drums.
Yeah, it's a great kit.
You got a good snare drum too, that DW drum.
Yeah, it's, I think I have a couple of DW collectors, but I have a 14 by, I think it's 14 by 6.5. It's great, awesome.
Yeah, good sound drum.
But yeah, they're lugs, they're tension rods.
Zach, what's your deal?
My name is Zach. I have a sonar kit, so I'm gonna go with sonar.
There you go.
Is the only one I got. So.
Good for you.
Don Atwell. I've always been a Gretsch guy, but I'm playing a Crush kit right now that I love. 18-inch kick, and I'm a Peisty cymbal guy.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Sound formulas.
There you are. Yeah, I just
I'm an old guy. I gotta stick some of that old stuff
the
in.
Pearl rep came in today, and he told me he just switched from Sabian back to Peisty. He used to play Peisty a long time ago, and he switched back, and now he's playing sound formula. Yep, playing sound formula.
I had a hard time finding them, but I finally completed my set, so I'm pretty happy about that.
What's your name?
Zachary.
Zachary, what kind of drums do you like?
I like all kinds of drums. I don't mind an old dusty kit, because I think a good drummer can play on anything. But if it was my preference, I play cheap drum sets that play better than old drum sets, than new drum sets, depending on how they were set up.
Yeah.
I don't like a deep snare. I like them kind of
Skinny? Yeah.
like a piccolo snare kind of.
Yeah.
But I'm still working on like my rudiments and stuff. I didn't take high school band, but somehow I can play drum set, you know? I was like looking at Tony Royster yesterday on Facebook. Like that dude just on a practice pad blows my mind.
Yeah,
So like,
he's amazing.
for the next 15 years, I'm studying that guy and like this other chick that plays. Because I'm still trying to figure out like all the different time signatures. You know, like I'm not quite sure if I'm counting right. Especially when you get like 11/8 or anything. Can it be anything?
No, it can't really, but it can be. I guess.
There's a lot.
There's a
You can
lot
pick
of
some weird
them.
numbers.
Everything's 4/4 if you count it right.
Yeah, yeah, it
That's
all
what-
comes back, it all comes back
Hey.
I
around.
thought it was 1/1, man.
Yeah.
That's the way I used to play.
How about you?
I'm Ryan. Currently playing a Gretsch, but I agree. You know, I don't look at the brand. You know, I've had a few kits, and it's about that kit, not the name that's on there.
Yeah, I'm a fan of playing everybody's stuff. I think everybody makes something good.
Yeah.
Even the cheapest of the cheapest makes something good that's got something about it that's unique and interesting. So, yeah, I love them all, man. I think they're all great. And this,
Josh Blount of Lucky Drums. Pretty biased towards those these days.
So Josh,
But what's up, guys? But I grew up playing a Pearl Export kit that was my dad's, and he was in a Southern gospel group, so I played that until I was almost 20. I bought my first drum set, which was a PDP. It's my first new drum set. And played that one up until I started rolling up sheet metal and turning them into drums.
crazy. You still have the PDP?
I sold it
Um,
to fund this little project.
yes, yes.
Not a wealthy man, so something had to go.
So Josh lives right outside of Atlanta.
Yeah, just south of Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's a place called Zebulon that nobody knows where it is. There's one red light in the entire county. It's awesome.
So tell us a little bit about your background. Like, I know you're going to talk a little bit about your family and background of,
Mhm.
tell us a little about your playing and tell us about
Sure.
everything.
Yeah, so the family side of it is it's kind of a perfect storm. So Lucky exists kind of 50-50 from both of my extended families. So on my mother's side, everybody over there is a musician of some sort. They had a traveling Southern gospel group.
Anybody I've heard of?
The Callahan family.
No.
So I was about to say, they played a lot in Georgia and like the border states around Georgia. That's probably about it. But so I grew up bouncing around the back of in the van, going out and playing, doing dinner on the ground, homecoming, church singing, stuff like that. And so all of them, my grandmother plays piano, so I play the bass. Everybody sings and knows harmonies, and so just always around music. There's pictures of me playing drums that I don't even remember. I was probably 2 or 3. Just always been behind a kit. And so my dad played. So that's one side of the family. And then on my dad's side, his father, my granddad, who actually just passed a couple months ago, which is a bummer, but he's was the first child of his family to go to college and learn a trade. So they were very, very poor back in his day, and he went to school and learned sheet metal fabrication. So he started a shop called Blount Sheet Metal in Zebulon. Grew his own business, had dozens of people working for him, and made a great career for himself. And so my dad ran the shop and still owns it, and I run it today. So I still run full-time sheet metal fab shop. It's the day job. But so the Lucky's kind of a perfect storm of the day job and the weekend job. So I've got my sheet metal fab and my music kind of came together and formed this thing kind of by accident, honestly.
You still have any of the first drums that you made originally?
I've got all of them.
Do you really?
Yep. The only ones, I started throwing them away once I kind of figured out in replicating drums. And if I made one that was just too small, too big, or weird, I'll scrap those. But all of the original, like, I wonder what this will do if I turn it into a circle and put a drum head on it.
Yeah.
I've got all of those.
Wow.
I'll have to bring them by next time when I'm up here.
Yeah, that's very cool.
But yeah, the very first one, so I was telling one of the guys here, I don't remember where I was playing. Love the snare drum, it sounded great. I think it might have been an acrolite, because I know nothing about drums. I knew I had a Pearl Export, and that's all that existed as far as I knew. Had never gone to a guitar center, never been in a drum shop until I was an adult. But that's what drums are, they're this. And so I was playing at this church, loved the snare, I flipped it over, and I was like, it's just a piece of sheet metal rolled into a circle. I do that every day at work. I wonder if I could roll my own circle and put drum stuff. So I went to the pawn shop and bought a drum. It turns out, looking back, it had 5 slugs on it.
Oh, no.
I didn't know what I had at the time. I was like, oh, this, $50 drum shell. Bought it, took the 5 slugs off of it, and rolled up a circle on a steel, welded it together, stuck the 5s on there, and made a drum. Played it. It sounded like a heavy metal weird snare drum. Wasn't really round, but it was close enough. So that's how it started. And then copper is, what you see a lot of these drums are. Like during the day job, my favorite part of that aspect of my life is doing like ornamental copper work, like bay window coverings, chimney caps, like kind of the artistic side of sheet metal work. And so I immediately was drawn to, I wonder what would happen if you made a copper drum. And so the copper we work with is thinner than what we use on the drums now, but at the time that's all I had. So I made a paper thin snare drum that you couldn't, if you like put the snares on, it would warp the shell. Like it was thin. Still got it. I'll bring it. It's horrific. But because of how thin it was too sharp. So if you put a drum head on, it's just going to slice through it. And so I put what you call a hem edge on it, where you just bend it over, fold it. And I just did that out of necessity because that's all I had. That's the copper I've got. I'm not going to buy a $500 sheet of copper to try to make a snare drum. I'm just going to use these drops off this job. And so I hem edged it, made it, and it sounded crazy. Like it sounded really good. And I was like,
Those are droppings from a job.
these aren't, but the
I was about to
original
say,
one.
that's like the most beautiful snare drum I've ever seen.
Now this one is, because I had a piece that I couldn't make a real drum out of, so I made
That is amazing.
a tiny little baby drum.
Sorry,
But
I just wanted to say.
no, you're good. Y'all jump in anytime.
Congratulations on that one.
I don't know how this works, but yeah, feel free if you got a question, I'll answer it. Hey, pass that around.
Is that a
That's
snare?
fine.
Yeah, that's more.
I like that.
That's a little
I probably
10-inch
missed
by
it.
5-inch
Do you put vents in them? Actually?
on all of them except for that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. That's what caught my eye, but
Yeah, if you see on this one, that's the grommet I've been using. They hammer in. I've
Okay.
been using those on all my Gen 4s.
Like a bigger hole like that.
Because I made that first copper one, and it actually played okay. I was like, that's fun. I'm gonna try to make a better one. Use a little bit thicker material, and probably 4, 5, 6 drums deep, they were actually sounding pretty decent. So okay, this is fun. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the Christian band Casting Crowns.
oh yeah,
Anybody familiar?
yeah.
So the drummer for that band lives pretty close to me, and he's somebody that when I found out, I was like, wait, you can leave and play drums for bands? Like I was like, whoa, that's awesome. But Brian's a real player.
Yeah.
And everybody else I would show one of my terrible drums to, I'd say, look what I made. I was like, that's amazing. You're amazing. Brian was like, that sounds good, but I'd never buy this, and this is why. And he would show me what was terrible about it, and he was 100% right. And I was like, okay. So I'd go take care of that problem. Bring Brian another one. Hey man, I got a snare. Can I bring it to you? He'd play it. That sounds really cool. Looks good. Why did you do this right here? He'd point to something. I said, I don't know. I've never built a drum. I'm just figuring it out. He said, yeah, don't do that. Nobody does that. A couple years later, he played one, and he said, it was 2 years later, almost to the day, he goes, dude, you could sell these. I was like, okay. I know he's not lying to me. It's a real player who's been giving me honest feedback the whole time. It's like, yeah, you could definitely, put this out there and sell them. So I started making them for buddies. Those JB snares. There's a few of those floating around. They're still terrible. They're not great. But a few of those around my area. And I went to see the band Muse play, which is my all-time favorite band. I love them. And he was playing what looked like a copper drum set, but I just assumed, like a lot of them you've seen that are wooden with a copper wrap, I assumed that's what they were, but they sounded amazing. And after the show, I'm Googling, and it was Q drums. I was like, wait, the whole shell is just copper. Whereas, and they've got a wooden bearing edge, a little bit different than what I'm doing, but it just gave me the idea, well, if they can do that, I could do that with my method, and kind of put my own spin on a copper drum set. And at the time, it was a lot of money to buy a full sheet of copper to dedicate to make a kit, but I knew it could make it look good. That's what I did for a living. I make cosmetic, pretty copper things. I was like, I'm gonna try it. And so I made it. They sounded wonderful. I still have them. They sound great. I track on them in studios and stuff. And I would go take it to events and places, and they'd go, what are these? They're just my drums that I made. They didn't have a name on them. Just JB drums. I've sold snares, but didn't even think about branding the kit. It just kind of was what it was. And long story short, enough people convinced me, like, you should try to make and sell these. You should turn this into a brand. And my wife takes full credit for coming up with the name. But Lucky Drums, when she said it, I was like, that's got to already be a thing. Like, that's pretty catchy.
Yeah,
And it wasn't.
that's great.
And so this was born, and I made a logo that's not present here. That was just, you can't tell, I'm not super into computers, so I got on clip art, found a 4-leaf clover, put it in the middle of a circle, and put Lucky, and then drums. That was my logo. It took 10 minutes.
Sorry.
And
Which is that? Was it this?
no, it's not even that one. So I'll fast forward a few years when I actually started, selling drums and making some traction. Micah from Diamond Rio came through. They played a show at our church, and he saw my kid up there. I was out on a gig in the Beatles band I play with. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
And I get a phone call. I'm out on the gig. I may have even been here at the Derby.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, hey, Micah from Diamond Rio wants to talk to you. Okay. I'm out of town. Hey man, what's up? He said, what are these drums? What is Lucky Drums? I said, it's just rolled copper drums that I've been making for a while. And he just fell in love with them. He said, I've never heard drums that sound like this. He said, can you make me a snare drum? I said, sure. And I made him one, and he toured around with it that year. And he's the sweetest guy in the world. But he's like, hey man, how much do you love your logo? I said, I just made it on clip art. I don't love it. That's just the logo. And his side hustle is graphic design. He said, can I take a stab at just trying to see if I can make you a better one? I said, sure. And this was draft number 1.
No kidding.
Yeah, he said that to me, and I showed my wife. I said, look how much better this is than what I've been doing. And I think that's when, as far as, to me, it legitimized the brand. Like to have an actual logo. But because every drum in here has a badge and a logo that looks good. When you see it, it's iconic. You know that's Gretsch. You know that's Ludwig. And that's, to me, it was Lucky Drums before that, but once he put the logo into existence, that's when it really became a brand to me.
Cool.
And that was only 3 years ago that the logo was born.
Crazy.
I've been making them before that, but he was the first one to pull the trigger on taking a full kit on the road too. So he's been touring for 1.5 years on a copper kit. It's nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That feels good, don't it?
It's incredible. To take my dad backstage and hang out and, a trade that he taught me, and listening to a band play songs that I grew up listening to when we were fishing, in the 90s. He said, how weird is this right now? I said, it's the weirdest thing. And it's just, an iconic band playing songs we grew up listening to with rolled up sheet metal from our shop.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's been a fun ride.
Yeah. Yeah. So I met Josh officially at the Music City Drum Show last year.
Yep.
That's the first time that I met.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think I went. Well, you were there the year before as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I went through that year like really fast, and I didn't really talk to many people.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a drum shop then. And
Yeah.
so I just opened up when I came by there and saw his drums. I was like, these things are really cool.
Yeah.
Like they look cool. I love the logo and the name. They're unique. I really wasn't sure about this part of the drum, but now I'm very sure about it. If you look at these drums, the way he rolls it and puts it together, I wasn't really sure how this was gonna work out. Right, where he puts that seam together. But since having the drums in here, playing the drums, he does such a good job of making the drum round, and that doesn't matter, if that makes sense, because the drum's in round, and that's what concerned me with him being round. But everything that I've ever seen it is in round.
Yeah.
And it tunes really easily. So he gave me a snare drum to bring back, which is this one.
Yeah, that one and then a second one.
Yeah, and the second one, I got the second one when I went to Nashville to pick up the drum kit,
That's right.
and then we sold that second one. So, but he gave me this kit to bring up and put on the floor to have everybody play on it. And what I was blown away with this kit was like, that the finish was patinaed on it. And I'd never seen that done. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird how many copper roofs and other copper parts of houses that I'd seen before, or churches, lots of churches. And I would see it, and I saw the copper was patinaed, but I didn't like it. It wasn't like I was like, oh, that's cool looking patina. It was like, oh, it was kind of dirty. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I thought about it. Why isn't it shiny like copper? But then when I saw what he did with these drums and how creative he was with the finishes, it was like a game changer. I was like, man, this is a whole different ballgame. Like, you can make the drum look different than copper. Like that drum right there and that drum right there, those are copper drums.
Yeah, everything's copper and nothing's painted. It's all either a chemical or heat or a combination of the two. And
Yeah.
it's so fun. Like,
Yeah.
I love working with copper just because I don't know what it's going to do from day to day. Like, this exact formula, I was talking to one of the guys on a different day, whether it's hotter or colder, make them out a lot more blue than green. So when I wrap them up, I'm kind of, what am I going to get when I open it? You know, is it going to let it age for 2 days? Like, this is just a 24-hour age. Like, it's not much at all.
And do you use different solvents in there, or is it just yeah?
Yeah, so there are some you can just buy off Amazon, like a green patina solution, blue patina solution. I'll mix them up. You can also get ammonia and salt, different things to bathe them in, and you can feel it. There's a little bit of texture where it's etched, and like the patina, it affects the material.
Yeah, yeah.
But every one of them, especially the chemical ones, are going to be different. Like, there's not going to be, I can't replicate a finish. Like, if I build a 3-piece kit with a finish, and you want to add a floor tom, I can get you 80% of the way there, but it's never going to be that exact formula again.
Right.
Like, you get the one shot at it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. And the other thing that's interesting is, like, when you do something like this, where it's a bright copper in the center and it's darkened on the edges, that's also got to be. I mean, you don't want a straight line anyway on it. And that's not what you want.
Right.
You want it to have a little bit of soul about it. But how long does how long? And I'm assuming you've done it where you left it in there for a longer time, or
Sure.
shorter time. Does it make a huge difference when you leave it there for a longer period of time?
Yes, so some of the ones I left the longest, like we see these light blue lines start to form, like everything that's like not that dark, it just kind of brightens up and it'll just start getting really blue or really green, you know, like that teal drum set behind you. Like, the longer it sits, the more
Color.
it grows. Whatever color it decides to be, it's just gonna kind of maximize that hue.
Crazy. Does it, once you take it out of that solution and let it sit in the air, does it change from there as well?
Yep, it does. So I learned that the hard way from a custom build. I took a picture of one while it was still wet, sent it to the buyer. Oh, that looks great. But then by the time it dried, it was kind of different. So we had to kind of backtrack. It's like, hey, it's actually not going to look like that. You know, what are we gonna do to change it or affect it? So rinsing is the scariest part, because you've got to rinse the chemicals off before you can clear coat them. So it can be beautiful, and every once in a while, for whatever reason, they just don't take. And you rinse it, and half of it comes off. That's a real bummer.
That is a bummer.
But then I'll just throw it in a fire and burn it up and get something like this out of it.
Yeah.
So that's these two are the exact same chemical finishes. I told half of you this already, but I roasted this one from the inside to, I really just want to see what it would do. And so you take this color and you roast it from the inside, and it forms this crazy yellow orange look that I'm in love with. I might buy that drum before I leave. Like, I can't stop looking at it. I love
You're
that
just
one.
saying that because I'm saying that, because I said that drum, I love it.
I sent a picture of my wife as soon as I finished it. I said, I've never done this color. I'm so excited.
Yeah. It
But
is.
I've got to take it too.
It doesn't look like copper when you look at it.
No.
You don't think it's copper. You certainly do.
Yeah, especially like a full kit. Like, if you've got a full patina kit, like, people just think it's wood because they don't sound like metal.
Well, I was talking to Jason from King's Custom, and he was telling me about, like, when I picked this drum up, it has a die-cast tube on the top and triple flange on the bottom, right? And I was like, oh, that's kind of jacked up. You know, I have a couple of drums that I put die-cast on the top and didn't put a die-cast on the bottom, and I just did that because I didn't want the drum to come out of tune as much, and but I always thought it looked kind of jacked up. But there's a reason for that.
Mhm.
There's a reason for you to do that, and this is kind of a model that you've had. It's kind of something you've done, right?
Exactly, yep. Matter of fact, this one and that one, that's identical drums spec wise.
Yeah.
This has just got a different patina on it.
Yeah, it's got a die cast on the top, triple flange on the bottom.
But I'll throw all credit back to Micah from Rio again. So his original one was like this one, which is the 6.5 14 with triple flange on both. He played it. He said, it sounds great, but it sings a little too long. I'm having to tape it up a little bit because shing, it's just a little too much tone. And he said, I put a die cast on top, but not on the bottom. So we did die cast both. It's a little too choked. He said, I want my drums to sound like drums. And so he kind of split the difference, die cast on top to kind of give it a little control. We leave the bottom, it's where it breathes, and it's just, it sounds like money. Like every,
Yeah, it does,
through a good
man.
mix and good ears, like it sounds incredible.
Yeah, this drum is a really nice drum. Man.
Copeland did that with the snare,
Is that right?
with the brass snare. That's where I learned it from. So I
That might be where Micah learned it from.
did it just to, if he can do it, I can do it too.
Mhm.
So I did it to try it, and it's several years later, it's still on. I think it's an aluminum shell I put it on.
Yeah.
I have a question. I looked and seen the drum supply. Is that Drum Supply House in Nashville?
Mm-hmm.
That was where I first seen Lucky Drums. How long has he been carrying them?
So right at 2 years.
Okay,
And you might have even seen that kit there. That kit was there for a minute.
I might have.
The one that's there now, or the one that's here now.
I think it was. I don't remember if it was early last year or the year before.
If it was early the year before, they had just shown up. And that's kind of a fun story too, if anyone wants to hear that. So getting into the drum industry as a sheet metal fabricator, I'm a gigging drummer. I play a good bit. I'm a fill-in drummer. I get to be Ringo Starr a few times a year. My buddy Adam's a full-time Beatle in a tribute band. And if he can't make a gig, I get to put on the wig, shave my beard, and be Ringo for a day. And it's the most fun, except for when I sing. Not good. It's really bad, because I don't sound very British, as you can tell. But anyway, so I play a good bit.
Redneck Ringo.
Yeah, but as far as like the industry goes, like I don't know drums. Like Mac can probably look at a drum, tell you what year it was made, brands, and I just don't know much about the industry at all. But I wanted to sell drums. I have a brand now, so you're supposed to sell drums in drum stores. And so I just showed up to the Atlanta drum shop with a few drums, and Mike was just getting the drum shop off the ground, just started. So his shelf was kind of bare, didn't have a lot going on. And I told him what I was doing. He said, dude, fill up the shelf. You can sell as many as you want. And so he kind of gave me a little bit of confidence, especially when a couple sold. I was like, that's cool. Somebody came in and saw all these drums and bought one of mine. And so I was like, I should go to Nashville and do this, because that's Music City. So I loaded up the car, told the missus, I'm leaving this weekend, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to go to every drum shop in Nashville and just see if somebody will take one. And I got turned down from one. I won't say which one, but it's kind of more of a big box store. And they said, they don't do boutique brands that much. Super kind, very nice. They like the drums, but just didn't have room for me. And I checked in with Andy at Drum Supply. And if you've ever been to Andy's shop, it's a lot like this one. It's just a cool spot.
And he's a good dude.
Good dude. Gear you can't find different places. And he was curious. He said, so you're making these from scratch. You're not just buying shells and putting hardware on them. I was like, no. I said, this starts as a 3x10 sheet of metal, and I'm cutting them up and making them. And he played one, and he's looking at them. He said, so what are you intending to do? I said, if you'd have it, I'd love to put one on your shelf. I'd be honored to sell one. And he said, and what are you going to do the rest of the day? I said, well, I'm going to leave here. I'm going to go to this drum shop and that drum shop and do the same thing. And he said, how many do you have in the car? Because I'll just take all of them and bring your Nashville spot. So I was like, okay, that's great. So I called the missus, super excited about that. And so shortly after that, I said, the next year you hear about the Music City Drum Show, and I know nothing about this. I've never been to a drum show. My first time attending one, I had a booth. So I just show up, don't know anybody in the industry, roll my little sign out, and start setting up copper drums, and everybody's just scratching their head wondering who I am and what I'm doing there. And it was very fun, and everybody was super kind. Like all the other drum brands, Jason was incredible from King's Custom. And I guess you guys were probably here when he came a week or two ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, yeah.
Great dude. And he was so kind. He came over there and was talking. He just kind of showed me the ropes. This is how things work. We've been doing this a long time. And I was just kind of shadowed. I was like, okay, if I need to know something, I'm going to run over here ask him what's up, because I am lost here. And the whole industry's been that way. Like, even my competitors that are making copper and aluminum drums, like, everybody's just been incredible, because everybody's got their own take.
Yeah, Jordan from up
At Offbeat.
great guy.
Great guy, incredible drums.
Yeah, really cool and unique drums.
Yep, copper, beautiful. His finishes, like, mine are pretty. I like them, but Jordan is, I mean, he's on a different level. He's been doing it a long time. He does some beautiful work.
Yeah, he does some nice stuff. And he's a nice, like you said, he's just one of those dudes that
Yeah.
can talk to you about it and tell you the secrets and all the things. He's just that
Yeah.
guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's like you. He's like all these cats that are making drums now, like these. Well, they're not all of them, but most of them are really, really cool people that they want you to find something that you're gonna fall in love with, and
Yeah.
that is a, you know, it's a rarity to be able to go into a shop like in Nashville. You go to Nashville, there's 3 really great drum shops out there, really nice drum shops that do very different things.
Mm-hmm.
But you get treated differently when you go in all 3 of them. They're just
Sure.
it is different, but the folks down there are fantastic in what they do, whether it's vintage or whether it's something more like this. They're just great people, you know. But we're fortunate that drummers are mostly nice people.
Yeah, drummers are awesome.
Yeah, they're mostly nice people.
Yeah, we'll say mostly.
I've heard for years that the drumming community as a whole is a better group over guitar players, bass players, and because we tend to not compete with each other, we tend to embrace each other and lift each other up.
Yeah.
And why the other one's got to be clowns?
Yeah.
You are all badass, every single one of you.
So was copper how did aluminum, copper, steel, how did that all work out?
Like, which one came
Yeah.
first?
Yeah, and how did that work?
So the first full kit was copper, just because I'm partial to the way it looks, and I knew the snares were sounding good. So it's a pretty good idea the drums were gonna sound good. The aluminum ones came about just because, I'm a curious person. Like, my favorite thing is when somebody says, have you ever built one this size? I'm like, no, let's do it, because I wanna see what it sounds like. So immediately, and aluminum's much cheaper. So if somebody wants like an entry-level kit in Lucky World, aluminum's gonna be half the cost material-wise, so it shaves the top-end price quite a bit. And I was like, I definitely wanna make an aluminum kit, because acrylites sound amazing, and very happy the way they turned out. Like,
Yeah.
and this one, like I explained to you earlier, is the first of the thick. So these are 050 thickness, and the original aluminum kit, because again, limitations to the day job, all I had was almost 1/8 inch thick aluminum. So the very first one was very heavy. So when you try to double it over onto itself, the bearing edge builds up. Where you're talking about concern with the seam. If you saw my first aluminum kit, very concerning. Like, there's a lot going on with that seam. And but you live and you learn.
Yeah.
And so when Danny asked for an aluminum full-size kit, I said, man, I've made some little bob kits and pancakes, but I haven't made one full-size that thickness yet. I'm not sure how they'll hold up. If you're talking about them staying around, there's a breaking point. You can only go so thin before they get crazy. And I said, let's just see how thin we can go, and that's the guinea pig set right there.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna hand this Tom around, because you won't believe the weight of it.
The aluminum, the copper, there's so many, you know, the copper is so much reactive to whatever you put on it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to do any different finishes with the aluminum one?
Not much.
Like I say, but I don't know if there's any. I know
I've been doing
copper-
a lot of research on that, because there are other brands out there, and like Honest Abe's got some aluminum ones that look really great, but he's painting them. Like aluminum, when you put chemicals on it, it kind of turns milky white. It gets weird, but it doesn't look good.
There's no way to tarnish them up a little bit.
No, like when you heat up aluminum, it doesn't change colors. It's just kind of boring. You can do like a mirror finish. You can buff them down, like an aluminum rim. But as far as like heating them up or patina, it just looks gross and corroded. Like just marshmallow film.
Also, weight. That pick, that 10 inch, was it 10 or 8 inch?
This little guy right here.
Yeah, that's the heaviest tiny snare I've ever had.
It's stout.
Are the full bass drum? Are you using different gauges?
So
belts, or are they
that's a
just as
great
heavy?
question.
Like, does that break my back?
Yeah, so all of them now are or not 032, but they're 32 ounce copper, which is 32 ounces per square foot. That's how they sell it. And yeah, let's pass that around and compare. But yeah, so the early version, so I was telling Max, because I need to document this stuff or I'll forget it. Like my generation 1s were 24 ounce copper, which is substantially thinner than these. Easier to work with, easier to make, but I didn't have, you notice this reinforcement bead around the bottom. So I didn't have that on my first ones, and out of that thinner gauge material, they did not hold around very well. And so I went up a gauge on thickness,
Slight difference.
and then added that, what I call the lucky edge, which is it's just a bead right below the folded bearing edge. But that doubled with going to the thicker copper, finally got to a point where they would hold around better. But I'll be fully transparent, I don't think I've made a perfectly round drum yet. Like they're all close enough, but because they're all handmade, there's an imperfection in each one of these drums. And I can show you all of them. That's all. Whenever I look at them, that's all I see. Like every drum that I look at, I'm like, I know what's wrong with that one. You know, I just get in my head about stuff. But so every drum, and this is something that when you're working with copper, every time you bend copper, it hardens. If you ever work with copper pipes or plumbing, you start working with it, you bend it. The more you bend it, the harder it gets to bend to where you almost can't even move it. And so I work these as little as possible. And that kind of one differentiator with other brands. It's like a lot of the copper drums you'll see, like the big box ones, they're pushed out of a disc. They'll push out a machine, which is why they're perfectly round, perfectly symmetrical. They're almost like they're lathed out. Very cool process. But what that does, it also hardens up the material. It's very, very rigid. Even though it's the same material, like if you take a knife and you heat it up and you quench it, if you ever seen that done, it hardens it, to where but it also makes it brittle. Whereas if you heat it up and let it slow cool, it's like taffy. And so I've got, all of my drums are on the taffy side, if you will. Like every one of these drums, if you take the hoops off, you could stomp it all the way flat. They're very soft. But the trade-off is they sound very warm. They don't sound metallic and pingy and noisy. And that's what sound guys, when they see a metal drum, they're like, oh, it's gonna sound like pots and pans. But because they're soft rolled is what, and you know, Carson's helping me like market things. The soft rolling method is kind of gives a copper a different warmth with our drums than you get with a lot of other ones.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. But you can tell the difference in the weight
Yeah.
of this.
That's still a heavy tom, but yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I say that's probably just the same as that, probably weighs the same as that 10-inch or whatever it was.
Yeah, close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not really as bad as what you think. Like the bass drum, that 20
Yeah.
bass drum doesn't weigh it.
I was afraid picking up that 8 or 10. Like that bass drum's got to weigh 100 pounds.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
it's really not that bad. It weighs itself out. But you have to remember how much hardware's on that and that mount and everything
Yeah, the
that's
mount,
on there. Yeah. Makes a big difference. Now, the interesting thing with the aluminum is it's very dry.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much drier tone, and than the copper. And there's a difference in the low end too. For me, there was a difference when I tuned this kit up and played it. There was a difference in it, and it feels different as well. This is a little more squishy to me than this. This has got a little more rebound to it. That's how I feel it. This is a little squishier. But they do sound different. This one has 2 plies on top and bottom. This has got a 2-ply on the top and a single ply on the bottom.
That's right.
And but they do sound very different. The tom
I think
toms.
the different brand heads have anything to do with that.
Those are coated with a smooth white emperor on the bottom, right?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
what it is?
So there's a lot of factors going on to differentiate them. Like you said, with the different brand, the different cut versus clear.
And a single ply on the bottom. This one's really very reactive.
It sounds like a lot bigger tom.
Yeah,
They sound bigger than what they are.
Yeah.
they really sound a lot bigger than what they are.
Which
The
is
bass drum sounds
what's
like
really fun about this guy too.
24.
I can listen to love
It's
it.
a big boom on that. There's nothing in that either.
Does not sound like you think it would.
Yeah.
No, it
And
doesn't.
this drum is the most fun with that game.
Mm-hmm.
You have a sound in your head when you see a 4-inch drum,
Yep.
but it's a 15-inch diameter, and it just puts a question mark above your head when you hit it.
Yeah, it's just really.
That don't make no sense.
I don't know why that's happening, but yeah, it sounds crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And how do you have how high do you have that tuned?
It's probably low mid.
Okay.
Yeah, you can bring that up quite a bit.
Yeah, this one is a 15 as well. Okay?
And yes, a 4.5-inch depth on that one, but that
Yeah.
one's probably a little.
This one's tuned up a little more than that one. And it's still big and fat.
Yeah.
The 15-inch diameter is huge
Yeah.
for a drum like that. It's really amazing.
And I prefer my drums a little bright and then just a little dampening if needed, because you can always control the tone.
Mm-hmm. The other cool thing I like that he does that I've not seen anybody do, somebody probably does it, but I've never seen anybody do it, is the bass drum hoops are all, it's got that burnt look on those, if you look at all those
Oh, yeah.
bass drum hoops. It's, to me, that is very unique, very different, and it makes that drum look more vintagey feeling. You
What are
know?
the hoops?
Yeah.
So those are just maple.
Okay.
They just come plain wood maple, and I just take a torch and I roast them and get that finished. And sometimes if you overdo it, I'll brush it back down. And
Yeah.
I've put stain over before, but lately I've just been doing clear.
Mm-hmm.
Just gloss clear over the.
I asked you earlier if you'd made any drums with that bead in the middle, like a snare drum with a bead in the middle, like a
Yeah, I'll try to see if I got one on the Instagram. I can show you.
superphonic or something like that,
Yeah.
you know. And he has made them like that, and that bead makes that drum a lot more rigid, a whole lot more rigid.
That's right. Anytime you bend it, it adds a little strength.
Yeah.
So,
Now, do you have the bead on those drums? Because it looks like it's on either side of the bass drum. It's on the batter and
yes, so
resonant
right
side?
below the bearing edges on
Yeah.
all of my drums,
Yeah.
you'll see that. That's that
Yeah.
reinforcement.
and it's on
bead.
top and bottom all the
Yeah.
drums.
Okay.
Can't
This is
see it
on
in
all
this.
of them. You just can't
Yeah,
see
you
it
can't
because
see
of the
it.
hoop
You
in the
can't see
head.
it.
Correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
So every single one of
Okay.
the Lucky drums you'll get from Gen 2 on will have that bead, top and bottom, regardless of what
And
it
that's
is.
just to strengthening the round,
Exactly.
hold it in.
Like I said, and nothing's exactly round.
Sure.
You do the copper the same way?
Yes, sir. But like he was saying, I've added that bead either dead center or staggered, like 2, and that's fun to play around with, just to see what it's going to do. Let it float underneath the tube lug,
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah, you can, because of the way that I'm doing it, I don't have, because a lot of these come through a bead roller where it just kind of, you can only do a center bead.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm breaking mine beforehand, so you can kind of put it anywhere. You could do 4, you could do 2, without buying a whole nother machine, like a set of dies to do a different one.
It's very cool. And I saw the first one of these when I was in Nashville to pick up that kit. He had brought one up there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was, I was like, man,
With the brass hardware.
yeah, it was really cool looking. And these drums obviously fit inside each other. We were just talking about whether we could get a shallow bass drum case, which some of those companies are starting to make, like a 12-inch bass drum case. That you could get for that 20 and put all that in one case and carry your kit in like that.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do. That's the next step with those kits, because those have been very popular.
Stuff that he says.
All right. I got a weird question on
Sure.
design. You ever made a drum where you put rivets all the way around it for aesthetic reasons?
I've not.
How much more heavy would that make the drum if you did that?
Not bad, because I use
They're
aluminum
aluminum.
rivets. Yeah, even on the copper drums, I use aluminum rivets, so it wouldn't be a weight issue. One thing I haven't done yet that you'll probably see at some point is I want to take a bunch of scraps and make one that looks like an old liquor still. Just like a quilted pattern or an
Yeah,
irregular
yeah.
seam,
Oh,
just different,
cool.
you know, different color coppers. And
Yeah,
you'll see that one day. I'm gonna do
I
it.
was thinking about how you could make one of these aluminum drum sets look like a beer cans. Have somebody put
That'd be
some
cool.
old
Dents in
vintage
them.
beer can kind of stuff on it.
Yeah.
Would be kind of interesting looking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that'd be kind of, or a Coke can even, like old school Coca-Cola logos
That's a
or
good
something.
idea.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
Get
Mountain
some
Dew
good sponsors
logos or
out of
something
that.
cool like that on there.
Yeah, just some lawyer comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this whole pancake kit is absolutely cool. Have you made a copper?
Not yet.
Okay.
I've made a copper bot kit, so like a 18 regular kick, 10, 14,
Yeah,
but I've not done one without the bottom head.
yeah. Do you think that's gonna be an issue?
Possibly. I think that because copper is so soft, that without the hoop holding it rigid, that they could get out around pretty quick.
Could you make a short stack kit like that with the top and bottom on it and out of copper, like, you know what I mean, like keep the sizing that thin?
Oh,
But-
right.
You know
So-
what I mean? But even put the lugs, like
Oh, you got
offset
plenty
the
of room.
lugs.
Sure. You can totally do that.
That'd be kinda cool.
That'd look good too.
Yeah, little short toms like that.
You could even stagger the lugs.
That's what I was saying, yeah,
Mhm.
do them offset like that, it'd be really cool looking.
It would.
Yeah, man. And so, the great thing also is that when you can obviously see that all these drums have different lugs on them. You know, all of them have different types of lugs on them. These are beaver tail lugs that came from Drum Supply.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And then, you know, this is more of a modern kind of a lug. That one's kinda like that's kinda like a,
They call it, I think, like ice cubes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm referred to.
yeah, originally I think, who made that? Maybe Leedy or somebody like that made a lug like that a long time ago. But that's a different type, and then the tube lugs of different types, and different, thick, you can get a 1 inch,
Right.
It's a 1 and a 1 1/4, 1 and a 2, all the way up to
Yeah, those
some
are
of these
actually
an 8 inch drum.
three that I use the most right here.
Yeah.
Short,
And then
mid,
this
and
drum,
long.
is a custom for a customer.
Yeah, that is
my
a
gosh.
monster.
Just saying, it's an 8 inch drum. You can explain it.
So that is just a piece of 1/8 inch steel, which is 5 pounds a square foot, rolled into a circle, welded together, and then formed into a drum.
Yeah, so he did a weld on it, like a bead weld on it. It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, the customer asked me, I was building a full copper
hands
kit.
on
He's
that
doing 2 up, 2 down, like spending a pretty good bit of money, buying a nice kit. And he asked me, could you do a rolled and welded heavy steel drum? I said, man, I used to play around with that when I first started, but I don't do that. Like, that's not what Lucky is. He said, I really want one. Can you just try it? I said, sure. And that's it.
That drum.
He loaned it to me for the trip, for you guys to
That
see
drum
it.
is so bright. It's like bright and cracking, like that thing
So it doesn't
cracks.
resonate at all.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It's crazy, yeah. It's got a bite to it.
It's articulate, man. Really, really nice.
Yeah, very responsive.
It's heavy duty too, and it looks like a wood shell. From the out, if like you look
Yeah.
across the room, you saw
Looks
that
like
on,
wood grain
on
on
the
it.
wall, you'd be like, that must be some sort of dark black walnut or something.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's the rest
Holy
of the
smokes.
kit. What color is the rest of the kit? Is it?
His kit, which one was it? So his is the one, if you see it, it's really dark on my Instagram page. It's
Oh,
2 up,
okay,
2
yeah,
down, and
yeah.
it's kind of this patina over the whole kit. Almost looks like an oyster,
Mm-hmm.
but he said, I don't want any kind of line or fade. He said, I just want a wild, dark patina, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a heavy drum right there, man.
Yeah, that is,
Where's the, oh, there it is. I said,
Where,
where's the seam?
it's not hidden.
It ain't hiding,
No,
no.
sir.
It is
I think I started right here and went all the way around.
Yeah,
the
that's literally what he said too. He said, when you do it, I want to see a big fat weld. All right.
Yeah. It's a nice drum, man. It's a really nice drum. And same thing with throw offs, floor tom legs, any of that kind of stuff. You just tell him what you're looking for, and he'll put it together however you want it.
And that's the majority of the sales is people will come in and see a kit, but then they'll want to purchase their own, put their own take on it. I'd like a kit, but I'd like black hardware, or I'd like a, and they put their own flavor on what they've seen in a shop or something. And people can buy through you that way.
Yeah,
They don't have to go directly through me, so I don't mind if you running custom orders from the shop. So if you ever want something, feel free to go through Max. And
What's your turnaround?
I've been
For
told,
like a 3-piece.
so 30 days is my turnaround right now.
Wow.
That's fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which
So,
is,
yeah.
which I've been warned not to advertise that. So that's why I follow that up with a good old fashioned right now.
Yeah.
Because this year's been really busy, and which is such a blessing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful to have sold what I've sold this year. But I've still been able to meet my 30-day deadlines. It hasn't affected me while working the full-time job.
Wow.
You said you had some employee, you're doing all the roll-in, but what's the?
Yeah, so that's some fun inside baseball on my future plans. So to keep up with demand and maybe the 30-day window, if I all of a sudden need to make 24 kits, a quarter, I can't, as a one-man show, do it. And so I'm training my sheet metal guys. So I've got a list for every diameter drum that's a certain cut size that needs to be blanked out. And so I've trained my guys. I'll just make them a cut list because they do that every day. They run the shear. It's like a giant paper cutter, just rips the sheet metal. And so they can blank out whatever size rectangles that I need to form drums out of. So they actually blanked out that one for me, that aluminum kit. And then on the back end of the process, any drummer can attach lugs and heads and that type of thing. So the future of the company, if we get crazy big or busy, will be my sheet metal guys doing all the prep work, forming them up to the point where they need to be turned into drums. Then I come in, turn them into drum shells, then pass them off to a builder or an assembler who can drill holes and attach lugs. That's the scaling plan as of right now.
Do you have some sort of a jig, or like if you're gonna make a 24-inch bass drum like that, do you have something you put around that you mark it with, or how
I
does that
don't.
work?
I've played around with it and I have not nailed that yet.
Mhm.
And I don't know, there's a way to do it to where, matter of fact, Offbeat does that. Jordan has a guy that laser cuts his blanks to where, because his seam doesn't overlap.
Right.
And they meet up and he's got a backing plate behind it.
Mhm.
Because of that, he knows the exact diameter, so they laser all the holes prepped.
Wow,
And so he doesn't drill anything.
that's crazy.
He drills them they're drilled while it's flat.
Exactly. So he's just got a shelf of blanks that are ready to be, so if it's on a blue one of whatever size, he can go grab it.
No
That's kind of
kidding.
his model, yeah.
That's really cool.
So mine, I will probably always drill them. I'm thinking just because if you look at the way these seams work, in every generation so anything that's good about these drums probably came from somebody else, truthfully. Like I've learned so much about drum building from people like Andy and Brian Scoggin from Casting Crowns. And so the original ones, they just stacked one on top of the other, which causes an issue here. And so we started that it kind of goes down and then under, so that there's not a change in elevation, if you will. It stays the same. There's no bump when you go. And so because of the way I do that, trying to do a pattern with all the holes pre-drilled, if that doesn't meet up in the exact same spot, you'll put your hoop on and that tension rod's not gonna line up. On that last one, you'll probably get 7 of 8.
Wow.
And that scares me, because that's a lot of time and work, and then you get to the very end of the process just to find out it doesn't work.
Mhm.
So I'll probably always drill them just for that reason.
Cool.
Because some of these, you measure them, I try to stay about 13 and 7/8. I like a little undersize. But like this one is right under 14. This one's pretty close. It's probably 15 16ths. And I don't do them any smaller than 7/8 generally, but because they change a little bit, that would also affect your pattern. And so I might have a little labor in drilling,
Yeah.
unless I completely change my method. And being they sound good and look good, I don't want to change my method yet.
Yeah, so this little aluminum kit, right, 20, 13, 16, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Also available in 12, 18, 14.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So this kit's, what's the street price on this?
$6.99.
Yeah, for those 3 drums.
The only thing that doesn't include is the pedal and the basket,
Yeah,
but it 4-tom legs and
yeah,
everything else.
crazy. Have you put a mount on have you put a mount on there yet?
On the toms, like on this
Yeah.
one,
Yeah, like a mount like that. Have you done it on the pancake drum yet?
I have not done that on the pancake drum, but it definitely can be added on.
Mhm.
And actually, have something we need to do too. You can take the kick drum. I don't even know if I've shown you this yet. I did this on a gig just because I'm always trying stuff. I was playing a really big room, and I had one of these in the car, and I was just playing a one up, one down. It's this youth camp, probably 1,500 seat room. I said, can we use this as like a second floor tom? And so we used one of these and hung it over to the right of my ride cymbal, and put a mic right here to the bottom,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I bet that was great.
and it sounded insane
Yeah.
in that room. So it's a very fun auxiliary pancake drum if you want it. It's a good time.
Yeah,
It's
it's
fun.
cool.
Yeah, that'd be kinda cool.
Yeah.
You could add to your kit.
So that's a fun little perk you
Twofold
get out of
that,
buying
That's
a
kinda nice.
pancake kit. And,
Yeah, I mean, those drums weigh nothing. You see he's got 2 fingers on it.
yeah, I mean, there's
It's just nothing.
nothing there.
Man, let me feel that.
Yeah, that whole kit, we put it on the scale before I brought it, and it's right under 30 pounds for all 3s. Insane.
Gotta take that instead of that Yamaha aluminum hardware.
That's a great
Yeah.
That'd be a
idea.
lightweight little kit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you'd be
That's a
right
great
up-
idea, honestly. Like I need to do that because I don't know what it would weigh, but I mean, that would
That
probably,
hardware only weighs about 7, 8 pounds for the whole.
that might be as light as you can make a drum.
Yeah, that's
At
probably
that
the
point.
lightest you can make a kit would be that.
I don't think any wood would be that light,
Yeah,
shell wise.
yeah. And he does make aluminum snare drums.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I'd have brought one. But they do a lot of what you would expect. They sound a lot like acrylites, a little bit drier. Great response, like you're saying. They dance well, and they sound awesome.
Does Brian from Casting Crowns play your drums?
He does not. So he had a deal with CNC and somebody else at the time. But he's a friend. He's got a couple of them. But yeah, when he was on the road with them, I was still too early as a brand to where he would even consider it.
Yeah.
You know, if he was still in that gig now.
Do you still have contact with him? You still?
Yeah, he pastors a church in our town.
Okay.
And we're good buddies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, great guy.
So what's your take on a dual throw off on a snare drum compared to a single side throw off on a snare drum?
I love it. I love having the adjustment on the butt plate side, because you know, you flip over a drum if it sounds weird. A lot of times people that don't know what they're doing, they'll have the tab resting on the bearing edge, causing it to buzz like crazy. Instead of taking the world apart with these, you can loosen one and tighten the other and just kind of walk it back and forth, and that is so nice.
Yeah, and those bearing edges and the snare beds particularly, he does all that by hand. He does every bit of by hand.
Yeah, so I hammer those in. So that's something I've changed too, because, and you might know this, but like antique older drums, there were some early metal shells, and I think they might have even been doubled, but they were crimped in.
Yep.
And so my first ones, that's what I was doing, because I had seen something online about that. And that was a little, because as soon as you do that, your drum eggs, then you have to get it back round. But the other thing was, and it may have just been my method of doing it, but matter of fact, again, Micah from Rio, the first snare I made for him, I crimped. And he said, it's just a little too choked. And I was looking at it, he put it on the thing, he said, the snare bed's just deep. And so we worked it with the hammer, because the fun thing about metal is you can work it in and out. Like I can raise and lower a snare bed. If you got a wooden one, you overcut it.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of
It's
back.
over, yeah.
Yeah, hard to add that wood back on. But you can hammer and, you know, push and pull that material. So we pulled his back up and found a sweet spot. So what I typically try to do on like a normal snare, this little guy's just a little bed this wise. I try to go, like if you want to run like 30 strand wires, I try to start my bed just past these two lugs, barely walk it in, and then drop it maybe 1/8 of an inch max. This is as deep as I like to go. Very gentle snare beds.
Yeah, it's impressive.
But yeah, I just tap those in.
That's cool.
And I've had to fix them. You know, sometimes you build one and it just doesn't do right, and that's usually what it is. You take it apart and I'll work that bed down, put it back together, and money.
Yeah, so all his drums are incredibly affordable for a custom-made drum. You know what I mean? He's the guy making the drum, the only one touching it, typically.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why that is too, because depending on who you talk to, if you would have talked to me as a kid coming up, like didn't have much money, the most I ever spent, like I spent $700 on my whole PDP kit, and it was a big deal. Like, man, I don't know if I can spend this money on this whole drum set.
Right.
I'd never bought a snare drum. I, you know, played my snare drum that I had in band class. That was my go-to little pearl chrome that everybody else had with the big case. And as I started doing this, I was like, man, I want to make drums that play and look like boutique drums that a working drummer can afford. That's what I want to do. Because you look at it and somebody sees, you know, $10,000. That's out of reach for, I mean, every drummer I've ever worked with. There are probably people that can do it, but your average drummer is lucky to even get paid on a gig. Much less, you know, they might get 50 or $100 a weekend after playing for 4 hours. And those dudes aren't out there trying to buy, you know, $7,000 for a drum set. So I try to keep it, obviously you gotta make money as a business, but I just try to keep it reasonable, just because I wanna sell to more people. I want my drums to be out there being played. Like that's the most fun. People ask like, why do you do it? What do you get out of it? And there's nothing like watching somebody enjoy something that I built. It's an amazing feeling. Like Nathan Sledner, I don't know if you met him, he's in Nashville. He said, these drums just make me want to play drums more. I was like, I love that. That's the coolest.
Yeah, I like that people are just surprised by when they play them. They're always surprised by that. That when they sit down and play that copper drum kit, they're just like, I never thought it would sound like this. I thought it would sound whatever your thought is that copper sounds like. It doesn't sound big and fat like that.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't think that. You think it sounds tinny and funky. And that's what I love about it. I love that aspect of it, and I love the affordability of the drums. It's kind of like Jason and King's custom or Jordan's drums. All those drums are affordable drums that people are building. They're putting them together. They're customizing shell or customizing pieces of it, and I think that's, to own something like that, and there's nothing wrong with owning a Yamaha or Pearl or a Tama or whatever it might be, but it's just a different thing to have a drum that somebody else's
Oh, yeah.
just
For
have
sure.
their hands on like that, and I think it is. And, to get a drum that looks like this, which to me, that's just unique looking, no matter who you are.
And knowing that there's not another one that's gonna look just
Yeah,
like that.
it's not gonna look, you're not gonna get another one that looks just like that.
Yeah, especially
That,
one
that
like
pretty
that one.
Tama kit or Tama kit, whatever it's called. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That blue,
Yeah,
but they're mass producing those.
yeah, they are. They really are. So yeah, so you can get anything you want, anything that you want, whatever your heart desires.
And like that crazy drum beside you, if I haven't tried it, I will try stuff. But if you're like, what would this sound like? And I don't know, I will try it, because I want to know.
Yeah,
This is the first one of this size, 13 by 4 or 4.5, I think. Yeah.
that's a good sounding drum too. And the company you get most of your hardware from is in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, World Max, they're like
World
a wholesaler.
Yeah, so you can actually go on World Max and look at all the hardware on there and go, I want this lug, and if you wanted wood hoops and
that's
you
where-
have a couple different clips on there.
And that's where all your cost discrepancies come from. I typically make the same amount on a shell depending on the finish, if it's got a little more hours, but if you want a trick throw and die cast hoops and high-end tube lugs, that drum's gonna be a few $100s more than one with just plain Jane, 2.3 millimeter triple flange hoops on
Do
it.
you have a lot of guys using the trick throw off on there?
People ask for them all the time.
It's cool. I've got one on one of my drums, and I
They're rad.
really
The 3
like it.
settings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like it. And in the studio, it's fantastic because you can make
Mm.
the drum sound, that same drum sound, very different.
Yeah, it's
Those certain
robust, and it
positions.
just locks in, and
Yeah,
it's very cool. They're very popular.
yeah. I really like that 3-position throw off.
I don't think I have any of them here, and one reason is they sit on the shelf a little bit longer because they're, an extra $150 on the drum
Yeah,
just for the throw. It's like, man, these are almost identical. What's the difference? Got
that
a
extra throw off.
$150 throw.
Yeah, it's a big difference there.
It adds up quick.
But yeah, man, I'll pass some of these drums around so you get your hands on them.
Yeah, everything here is to be played and looked at. So if you want to see something, let me know, and let's hit it with a stick,
Yeah,
because
that drum is my favorite
we
one.
all
of all
love
those.
Rumbling.
It's my favorite looking drum.
mine too. Nobody buy it. That's not what I came up here for. I gotta stop saying it.
You can take it or keep it,
But that,
drum.
I'm biased. That one looks cool. That's a great looking drum.
What are sound guys or studios? Are they saying anything about audio on these or anything?
So it depends on when you ask them. So if I go to a venue, before I play anything, the sound guy's like, oh no, are those metal? This is gonna be a nightmare. And then I get up there and I hit the kick drum one time and they go, what?
Blows
Yeah.
my eyes, probably.
And they love it.
How did you do this?
So
Uh,
Oxidize the company?
Yeah, that's the chemical patina. There's like a lot of ammonia involved with that one.
In
It's fine now.
In 15 years, is it gonna get that green that you find under your kitchen sink on your copper?
So that's a great question. So on the inside of the drums, probably, because I don't do anything inside. I let them just go crazy.
I noticed on the rivets on that one, that's like
Mm-hmm.
the start of that
Yep.
oxidation on it. I was like, that's
And the clear coat should stop that on the rivets, because that would cause the drum to fail if my rivets fell out. That'd be bad. Call me if that happens. We'll fix it.
So these little spots that nothing happened,
Mm-hmm.
is that where nothing happened, or where you just decided to go,
No, that's
just nothing happened?
nothing happened. And I do not understand why.
Do you doing that
Don't
while
have to,
flat
it's cool
or
looking.
after they're
I've done it both ways, but I do them all around now.
okay?
Because the rolling process and everything else, you just eat up the
Stretches
finish.
some of that out or something.
Not only that, but also scuffs it up quite a bit. Because my rollers, every machine, my shop's fun. Every machine in there my granddad bought used in the 70s.
Nice.
So there's some machines that are from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and nothing's nice and new. So everything's a little dull or a little out, like the rollers have little dents in them.
Use
So
them as inspiration.
Seasoned.
very seasoned.
Season, that's what we call it.
Some would say over seasoned. But that's part of the charm of it. Part of me wants to buy a bunch of new equipment and nicer stuff, but there's something cool about using granddad's tools to make drums. It's fun. And like this
Yeah,
one
that was a nice one.
is one of probably 5 to maybe 10 out there with the copper badges. I had a guy that offered and said, hey, I can start laser etching copper discs for you, and I have lost him. He does not do that anymore. He's lost that job where he had access to that machine. So I'm shopping for a copper etcher for my elite copper badge collection. So
That's one of the elite ones.
this is one of the elite ones. I've played this drum a lot. I've had this drum for 6 months. Like if the wife's who we got to talk to when we want to buy drums,
Mhm.
as you know.
I've got a guy, I'll send you his number on those badges.
Okay, I'd love to.
You can message him, see if he,
That would be awesome.
he can.
That would be excellent.
I'll see,
But at first, I want to get a drum, keep a drum. But now that I'm making them, if it's not for somebody, I'll just keep a drum for a few weeks and then go stick it on Max's shelf or somebody else's. Put a new head on it and kind of break. It's quality control.
Yeah, quality.
So I get to
control,
play
I like
a
that.
new fun drum every few weeks. But that one, I've run that one for a few months now. That's a workhorse.
That's a beautiful drum right there.
is this something simple like tape?
Blue painter's tape.
Yep.
The tricky part is keeping the patina solution from getting under it. Even though you tape
That
it
was
good.
my next question, is how you do that.
It's not perfect when
Any
you look at
finish
it.
or anything, paint, anything.
Not only is
I
it not
was-
perfect when you look at it, but it was way worse than I had the sandpaper and I'm going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
You
trying to
use
work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this drum and this drum both they have that Jordan look about it.
Yeah.
And I really like it.
And I'm chasing his tail on that one. Like I've never asked him how he does what he does. But, he knows how to band girl. I'm like, you're the
Yeah.
master.
I think I'm gonna make a trip up to Detroit in a couple of,
Yeah.
in about a month.
Yeah, when it comes to a
I'm gonna
patina
go-
finish, he's Batman. I'm Robin. He's the man.
Yeah, these drums are really nice ones.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. I don't make a lot of 13s.
That's a great sound of drum too. It doesn't sound like a 13, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, if you show your eyes, that's not a 13.
Yeah.
But that 15, no, I don't know how you're getting that, how that sound out of that little drum.
That one, doesn't make sense to me either.
No,
I make them and I don't get it. I still don't know why it does that.
that's unbelievable.
That's a lot of session guys, man, they use
And
those.
Tommy
15
Harden,
drums.
who's a big session guy in Nashville, he plays with Alabama.
Mhm.
That's his brainchild.
Yeah.
So he came to talk to me at the drum show. He said, so you can make any size? I said, yes, sir. He said, I can't find a 15 by 4 or 4.5, whichever one. He said, I played one back in the 90s and I've been chasing that sound. I can't find it. So I made him one. It's like, that's weird. I would have never made it. And then I hit it. It's like, oh, that's why I wanted it. Because that's not a sound you can just pull off the shelf somewhere.
Yeah. And you can't get a 15, if they get a 15 by 5.5 or 6.5, it doesn't sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's that 4.5 size that really has that sound about it.
Yeah, Tommy is a true believer. He'll tell you, he said, there's a formula to that size that's just
It's,
amazing.
I can hear that on some country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You probably have.
Yeah, yeah.
It was probably Tommy. He does a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have never dreamed to make that size. You know, if I'm bored and want to make a new drum, I would have never been like 15 by 4. That's what I'll do. Because if I see a strip of metal this thin, I'm going to make a 13
Right.
or a 14. I'm not going to think 15 with that thin strip of material. And I don't have any available. They sell kind of quick, but I also they look like this. They're only a one-sided drum, but there's an under snare that you can buy, like an LP.
Yeah.
And you put it here, and the snare throw hits the top head.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're a fun little auxiliary side snare thing that sound a lot like this one, a little more choked and fun.
Popcorn with a snare.
Mm-hmm.
How much do the 15s go for?
So one like this would be on the shelf for $550. And, yep,
Yeah.
and most of that's hardware dependent. So, and like your average copper 3-piece, I think yours is just shy of $3,000. Is that right?
Yeah.
And with custom builds, it changes. And anybody that does any kind of industry work knows this, but copper prices are worse than the stock market. It changes. Like my dealer, they give me a 7-day window that the prices are good. So if you quote like, I want a 4 up, 6 down, double kick copper drum set, and I give you a quote, it's only good 7 days. Whereas if I build a kit, like I know what I've got in that drum set costs that much. I'm not gonna run the cost of it up just because the market goes up. But if I quote you a custom build, my window of time is, I give people 14 days, but I've really only got 7 on the materials. With aluminum, it's always, you know, it ebbs and flows, but very slow, but copper's like this.
Is it like 20-30% difference, or is it?
It can be. So like if I've paid anywhere from $350 to $600 for a sheet of copper, the same sheet.
Wow.
Like it gets crazy. Like back in, I don't remember the year, but when everybody's air conditioner unit was getting broken into, like during that whole phase of whatever was going on in the economy, it was ungodly, so expensive. Luckily I wasn't building drums then, so it didn't affect Lucky, but if it gets like that again, the copper drums are gonna be few and far between. So
Just containing pennies, so that should help, right?
yeah, yeah, start donating those, I'm gonna melt those suckers down.
Would,
Make some drums.
would you make a undrilled shell that could be used in a free floater chassis?
Sure. I don't know how that would perform, but I'd love to try it. I would assume it would be fine. The only downside is the hoops keep them round. And that's one thing, and I try to spread the word. I tell Andy this, and I probably said it to you as well, but if you sell a Lucky drum and you change heads, change them one at a time. It helps keep round. Because if you take both of them off, it'll stay round, but if you move it from here to there and it, like you
It
can,
might not.
you can egg it pretty easily. So it's always one at a time swap. That would be my only fear with the free floater. Because if you were to crank down one side before the other, and you could probably take it in and out of round pretty easy. But it'd be fun to try it. If it doesn't do good, we'll drill holes
If
in
you
it.
put the beads in it though, the beads would help though, right?
For
If
sure.
you put
Yeah.
beads on it.
And
Absolutely.
there's no snare bed in that because the snare bed's in the chassis.
That's right.
So
That'd be fun to try.
get you a free floater chassis and work on that.
There you go. See, haven't done it. You'll see it on the Instagram at some point in the near future, probably.
Yeah, I mean, that
Something.
could turn into something. There's a lot of.
I've never
free
actually
floaters.
played like on a gig. I've never worked with a free floater
Free
snare.
floater, yeah.
I played around with it in shops, but I've never worked like put real time into playing one.
They're an interesting drum. They sound really good. They're a good set of drums.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 3 or 4 of them. I've got a copper, 6.5 copper, 6.5 by 14 copper shell. Got a 3 by 13 or 14, I can't remember.
It's like a heavier copper, probably.
I don't know, I'm not a metal guy.
Yeah, it's a
I mean, wait a minute, I'm a metal guy, but not a,
Yeah, it's probably
not a metal guy.
Something like that, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is a single shell on a
Makes sense.
brass.
And I've got an aluminum shell. It's a
Mm-hmm.
Tico Torres.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, the one I played was aluminum, I
and
think.
acrylics. I got 2 acrylic shells.
Mm-hmm.
Acrylic shells.
And one, I've only made one of them, but this is something Andy suggested. So a lot of times because the way the sheets work out, you just end up with drops that are unusable. And so I'll scrap them or have somebody laser cut a bunch of badges out of them. But he said, what if you made a drum that had a seam here and then an identical seam here? And you could use 2 shorter pieces to make one wrap. And so I've made and sold 2 or 3 of those, and I sell them as like a budget Lucky. So it's like, if this drum was $650 or $700, if I did the double seamed version, it'd probably be $100 less.
Is it an unlucky drum?
Maybe. But so one thing I did that was really fun, I told Carson, he's the guy that runs our social media. If you've interacted with us on there, it might have been Carson talking to you. But he said, or I told him, I said, what would happen if we did an aluminum from here to here and then copper from here to here? Because I've seen people do top and bottom, like a copper top, aluminum bottom, but I've never seen a 50-50 side to side. He said, if you make one, I'll buy it. I said, okay. So I made him one, and it's the craziest drum you've ever seen.
Really?
It looks like, so from the front, it looks exactly like an aluminum drum. Then you do this, and it's a copper drum.
How's it sound?
Like both of them. Weirdly, if you play it on one side, you can feel the difference.
Oh, wow.
Makes sense.
Like it sounds the same in the middle, obviously, but you can kind of feel, like you're talking about the response on the side.
Yeah.
You play it over here, you kind of feel it. It's,
Wacko.
I've only made one of them, and it's weird.
Huh.
But I'll probably do more of those if I get bored. 'Cause
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. Very cool.
But yeah, we're just throwing stuff against the wall. A lot of it doesn't work. I have a scrap pile. I just don't ever put it on Instagram and show anybody. There's a lot of drums that do not get made.
Yeah, I really like watching your Instagram because I can see sometimes you'll show shells without anything on them,
Mhm.
but you're here got a new kit coming, or you got cuts laying there. It's very cool looking, man. I really like that.
It's fun.
I like seeing it. And I'm a big patina guy. I like things to have a patina to them.
Same.
Do you have hardware that's patinaed at all? Is there? I don't know if those guys have any of
There's
that.
one out there. I had a guy, again, a custom build. He said, I want it to look like a nuclear blast happened, and this drum was out there for 100 years. He said, hardware and everything, I just want it disgusting. I said, man, I've never done it, but I'll try it. And so I just packed the tube lugs with grease to maintain the threads, and I put all this hardware on the rack, and I just sprayed it with muriatic acid once a day for a couple of weeks, and let it just deteriorate. And then I clear coated it all and put it together on his disgusting drum, and he named it Rusty.
Like a rat rod drums.
Yeah, I named it Chernobyl. That's what I named it.
Wow.
I don't know if I've got a picture of that one handy, but that was a cool
Is
drum.
crazy.
So you pull that one up, but I've only done that one time. Rusted.
That's
I
crazy.
may not be able to find it.
Leather wraps would look really cool on those with that patina, like a thin wrap layer or leather band or something. Or,
Yeah, across the
That would look cool.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man,
underneath
this
the
drum
buttons
is
and
still my
stuff.
favorite looking drum. I think that's.
That's one of my best ones ever. I hate that it's not for sale. That sucks.
Drums.
That sucks that y'all can't buy it.
You know, because I
That's
said
terrible.
this is the one I want. That's the one I want, right
Yeah,
there.
I'm gonna definitely take that one back. Yeah, you get pick of the litter tonight, cause, last time I think Andy had already picked out his, so you get to take the pick of the litter, and Andy gets leftovers this time.
Ah, I like that.
So whatever you wanna see on the shelf is,
I like
yours
that.
to keep, except for that one that is
Yeah, that one
pre-sold,
can't go.
and that aluminum kit.
How much does that weigh? Have you put it on a scale?
I haven't put it on a scale, I need to. I would assume better than 20 pounds.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, I
between
guarantee
20 and 30
that.
somewhere.
And I just can't believe
close-
how much
I'd
this is
say-
good.
Closer to 30.
You see that one?
'Cause
I
I-
haven't seen that one.
Did you put it on? Did you? You're right.
Oh yeah, that's easily. That might be 35.
It's
That's what I was
it's the
gonna
same
say,
way
it's-
that patina on there is similar to what this patina, like how you did it. Did you? how
Totally
did-
different method, but kind of similar results. So with the steel, that's muriatic acid again.
Oh, okay.
It just eats up
Yeah.
anything steel. And I pour, so that one, I did kind of you were asking if I do it in flat. That one, when it was a flat strip, I leaned it against the table and I poured the acid on it and let that happen for a few minutes and then rinsed it and then worked the drum and then did a second dose after it was round. So that's kind of a little blend of both on that one.
That's cool, man.
Got that
It
one
does.
here,
It's
too.
I grew up working with muriatic acid.
Oh yeah? That'll,
It's nasty stuff.
you know that smell.
I do. It'll knock you over if you ain't looking.
Yeah, we like to get the new guys with it.
There was many times that I'd be like, is that water or acid? And
Uh-huh.
you find out real quick.
Yeah, your eyelids turn inside out.
Yeah.
Yep.
See that big thing?
Before somebody does drop it on there too.
Yeah. We don't want to drop
I
it.
poured a bucket down my leg one time when I was
Beefy
12 or
stand for that
13
one.
years old. I
That's
went
not
to,
good.
went to pick it up, and it was a bucket lid on it, just a pour lid.
Ludwig.
It wasn't screwed on, and I didn't know it, and I wasn't big enough to carry it
Those
without
Coliseum
dragging it on my
drums.
leg.
I like
I
that.
just
Yeah.
did-
That was good.
Coliseum,
that like two
reminds me of
steps and
Coliseum.
Man,
Heavy,
the only
heavy
good
duty.
thing was I
You
had
made some
on
cool
jeans,
stuff,
and
man.
it was a cold morning, and it was gonna be a warm afternoon, so I had shorts
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, you did.
I
They're all very
got
cool.
Deteriorated.
the jeans quick, bro.
This is my favorite one.
That is a unique drum. I don't, like I said, I know how I got there, but I don't know if I can replicate that color. I will be trying.
You do anything? Is it just copper and aluminum, or do you do
Copper,
like any
aluminum.
brass or?
So I have done thin steel. So using, that one's, the heavy one's unique, but so the rolled riveted method, I did do that with cold rolled steel recently as well. And it turned out great. A lot more bright, I'd say. A lot more rock, loud.
Yeah.
When you touch it, it screams at you. A like a lot of your steel drums, like the, you know, just pearl chrome drums you see. Sounds similar to those, just a lot of attack, a lot of noise, but cool sound. The only thing I haven't done yet that people ask about is brass. And the only reason is just cost prohibitive. If somebody places an order, then I can order blank and do it, but everything else here I order full sheets of, and I have on hand, but a full sheet of brass is ungodly expensive.
Yeah.
So I'd have to order just
How big is a full sheet?
with the copper, it comes 3 feet by 10 feet. And then the aluminum's 4 feet by 10 or 5 by 10. But I don't know why they don't make very many 4 foot wide copper sheets, because my cut for a snare drum is 45.5 inches.
Right.
And I have to cut them the wrong way in the sheet, so there's always waste.
Mm.
Can't find the gauge I want in 48 inches in Georgia.
That's a bummer.
It is a bummer, but that's how you get 10-inch popcorn snares. That's where those come from. The leftover drop turned into that. So
Or the unluckies?
the unluckies, you're about to see a lot of that.
Oh no.
I like the unluckies. I like that. I like
Yeah,
it.
it's cool because they look almost identical, just 2 seams. If you're not looking for it, you probably won't even see it.
Well, you talked about wanting to make one that looked like a steel or a drum set,
Mm-hmm.
but that's kind of the same thing. I mean, it's just,
Well, have you ever seen like pictures of like old ones though? Like they'll have riveted seams, but it looks patched up. You'll see like just a square riveted to the side of it. So I would take just dummy patches and rivet them out of square, out of alignment.
Okay.
Have ones like a dark patina square.
so you have done that.
As in liquor stills? No.
Absolutely not.
I'm a sheet metal shop in Middle Georgia.
I understand, I understand, I understand.
We'll leave that there.
Revenue man ain't around. So.
Yeah, that might have happened. But
My question was on drums. Have you done that?
not yet.
Okay.
I really want to. I think that'd be some country band. I think that'd be a very cool
Yeah,
vibe.
that would. I mean,
Southern
you know,
rock.
yeah, because I've seen, and I can't think who it was. Might have been Jackal. Had his drum kit looking like a hot rod,
Right.
and you know, pipes coming up out of it, and a
Mhm.
fire extinguisher, and a gas can, and just setting them on either side of the bass drum to give it that look. So that
Yeah. I'm gonna
liquor
do it.
still would.
You have the coil and the funnel and different things. so
Yeah.
it'd be fun. I can see that.
Dude, that could be really cool.
Yeah, I could.
I don't think I could play that in church though. I don't think that
No,
would go
man.
over well.
Probably not.
Probably could play a set of those with the Bellamy brothers for sure.
In a heartbeat. Yeah. Now, another thing you were mentioning with the mounts and the racks, some people ask about, can you drill the kick drum to mount your hardware on, like your rack time or whatever in the kick? And I've done it, and I don't like to. So they didn't fail, but because of the shell thickness, I even doubled it. I put an inner, like a secondary piece on the inside, like a giant washer, but it still just flexes a little too much for my liking. Like when you're playing a heavy 13-inch rack tom,
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't buckle, it didn't give, but I just don't care for it.
I like a virgin bass drum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just always
There's
steer
something about
people.
'em, man. There's
You can
something.
hang them, you can float them, but I don't want to put that in the kick.
Well, don't tell Tommy what's his name that.
Huh?
Don't tell Tommy what's his name out there in Vegas. Tommy. Oh, God, I can't think of his name. He thinks people with the virgin bass drums are crazy.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, he does. He thinks they're crazy.
I've got extra pearl badges, the little plastic badge. It looks aluminum because the last time I went to order one, they had doubled the price from the first one I ordered. So I just bought like 3 or 4 of them in case I ever need them again. I've got 2 hanging on a rack in my drum room just waiting there, and I've got the BB3 mounts that if I ever get rid of that drum, I'm taking that cover off, and I might need it down the road for something.
Yeah, it all depends. To me, it all depends on the mounting system on the drum set. Because some folks' mounting system I like, and some of them I just don't.
Yeah.
Whose do you like?
Well, I don't like Pearl.
I don't either.
I don't like their mounting system.
Have you seen their new L-Rod things that they've got? The air and the air
I
rod?
haven't seen that yet.
Oh, they ain't cheap, but they last NAMM in 25, they came out, I think it was 25, might have been 24. They came out with the option for L-Rods. and they updated their Opti mounts to, I think they still make the Opti mounts, but they have what's called an air ride system. It's more like Thomas, but it's both top and bottom the way theirs was, and it goes wider. It goes 4 lugs on each one. They're pretty sleek looking, and then they've even added an adapter where you can switch. You can keep your old 7/8 arm mount and put this little nubbin thing in there where you can use an L rod.
Interesting.
So it's long overdue
Yeah.
for
I agree.
the design, but
I agree.
they're the only ones doing it.
Most of the companies, I like Thomas stuff. I like Yamaha's, Tom Arms. There's a bunch of them I like out there. Most companies I like, but the Pro ones I don't like with the big old arms. I can't ever get them right. Can't get them. I can't get them set right.
Yeah, it's
Well, they got the new ones now that are
Yeah, it's still-
gyro on. They'll do
Do all
anything.
you want it to do, but it still doesn't do
They
it.
just sag.
Where it sits, it just.
You get it right, and
Get it right and then let
starts
go.
creeping
I
on.
feel like I don't know. I feel like I need to do my toms like this, like flat. That's what I do.
Like who?
Yeah, huh? Like who used to play like that? Somebody played flat like that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Nico played his pretty.
Yeah, they're pretty flat.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't either. I don't like that. Well, any other questions, guys? You're more welcome to play anything you want here.
Have you ever made timbales?
One time.
One?
And Colin Dobbs from the Bellamy Brothers is playing a 14-inch timbale beside his. He's got a big one, and he used it 4 times in the concert. But you'll hear, then he'll come back in. It's fun.
It sounds good too.
It does. I think it's a 14 by 5, if I remember right. But yeah, it sounds great.
That's crazy.
What
Is it-
year
is
did
it
you make
copper?
your first drum?
The first drum, way pre-lucky, was somewhere around 2012, 2013. Before I was remotely good at it. And then started getting more serious about them. 2015 is when I had like pretty legitimate looking, almost sellable drums. And then Lucky was born soon after that.
Have you made one that you've sold that you wish you wouldn't have sold it? You kept it?
Oh, you mean like just because of how good it was?
Yeah.
Yes. I know who has it. It's a Brandon Garza or something in Nashville. He's got it, but it's the best sounding drum I've ever played. It's a 6.5 by 14, just like any of these, and I think any of these would sound this good, but it's the little bitty single flange metal hoops with the tiny claws, top and bottom, and that drum sounds incredible.
Really?
It's crazy. Same exact shell.
Did you get those hoops from?
That was, funny enough, because again, as we went over this, I didn't know how to build drums, so I started building drums. I didn't even know what a snare bed was. I had to be taught these things. But I'm ordering hardware, never ordered hardware. I ordered the wrong claws. I'm trying to order like those wooden ones, and I ordered the tiny ones that grab metal hoops. I'm like, crap. And they were like $4 a piece, those little things. I didn't throw them away, but I had them, and I was in the Andes, and it's like, I've got these little claws. Do y'all have any hoops that'll match them, just so I can make a drum to get rid of these claws that are, because every time I look at them, I just see a pile of money that I've lost. I'm like, sell me the hoops and I'll make the drum, get rid of it. And then I made the drum, and I was like, oh my God, what has happened? I've made a bunch of 6.5 by 14s at this point. I know what they sound like, but they sound different with that setup.
Yeah.
It's magical.
And then is it a chrome hoop? Is it a chrome hoop?
Yeah, the little, it's not a no flange. It's like the little 90-degree lip on the bottom. Then it comes up that shape with the tiny little claws.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. I was gonna bring one up here. Andy's got one on the shelf down there, but they're expensive because you got all the little claws. Those hoops are probably $50 a piece per hoop. So the price, I think that drum goes north of $700. But man, it sounds like it too. It sounds really great. So sound wise, that is definitely the drum that sticks out of my head. I'm gonna need to make me one of those. I just haven't done it yet.
That's wild, isn't it? How you had those parts left over and that turned into something great.
Yeah, and that's exactly
so
what happened.
cool, man.
I didn't throw them out because money doesn't grow on trees.
That's right.
And then I see that the hoops are, $50 or $60 a piece, so I didn't buy them at the time. Had a little money in the bank, and I was in Andy's. I said, I need to go ahead and burn off some of this hardware. It turned into one of the greatest drums I've ever made.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's very cool. Very cool.
So how many drums, roughly,
Mm-hmm.
did you make from 2012 to Lucky?
That's a great question. I would say probably less than 20, like snare drums. Maybe 30, but probably less than 20 would be my guess. I started keeping track of them after Lucky became a thing. I kind of went down memory lane and started making a list of what sizes I've made and how many of each size. I don't have it broken down by patina or finish, but I've made in total Lucky history somewhere between 100 and 120 snares that have existed with a Lucky sticker. Kits, I'm at just over 20 kits,
Wow.
most of which are copper. But that's where we are numbers wise.
Cool. Very
And when
cool.
it's fun when you look at it with like the tally marks, because you got your 6.5 by 14. There's a lot of those. Then you got a handful of these. Now these, when I saw how quick they sold, so when Tommy's at the drum show, his was already sold. I was just delivering it to him. Everybody that came to the booth, they were like, "Is that a 15?" And I had a sold sticker. I was like, "Yeah." Like, how can I get one of those? And they would order one. So last year, if you came out of the booth early, you would have seen I had 5 of them on the rack. I sold 4 that day.
Wow.
Like, they very popular. So I sold a lot of those. This one is a new tally mark. I've never made a 13 by 4.5, so that's a new one. But it's fun to look at, see what sizes are popular. Just like, how have I not tried that size yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you marking each individual drum with anything? Obviously, I'm sure you're not doing 1 of 10 because you don't know how many you're gonna make. But any type
Exactly.
of serial number or anything like that?
So
on
there's
them?
no numbers on anything, which is probably going to come back to haunt me. The early, like your Gen 1s are going to have the ugly clip art sticker without the real logo. Your Gen 2s are going to have the logo with no rivets in the badge, like this one. And your Gen 2s are when I started with the reinforcement bead. So your Gen 1s don't have that, and they've got the sticker. So your Gen 2s won't have the rivets. But I don't think, so there's no initials inside of this.
Say
Yep,
some
yeah, there
or
is,
something.
sorry. So I did
I was just
initial.
saying, I saw some initials in some of them.
But starting in with the Gen 4s, I put the year in there. So that's my initials in 26. So I think I've got a couple in 25, but that's the only markings that we've got on there.
I mean, that's a piece of art. Some type of signature or something that it's got your brand on it. But,
And I'm such a self-conscious person. Like people are like, you should sign the inside of your shells. I'm like, that's such a cocky thing to do. I'm not signing these drums. They're like,
it's not
definitely
an
do it.
autograph. It's a.
They're like, definitely do it. You're gonna regret not doing it. So I've been doing it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
I like the
That's
autograph.
Yeah, everybody's like they want it. So
Yeah.
that's what you get.
I've been trying to get Barry to sign all my drums.
I'll do it.
I was noticing on this one too, this is a common question I get is how long will the finish last before it starts to fade? And like the insides are gonna fade really quickly because they're unfinished, but this one had a clear coat on it. If you look close, you can see it's starting to get dark under the clear coat. Like it's not
Some spots on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
perfectly brushed anymore. So, and that's just something we're learning. As we grow in years, our drums are gonna age, because up until the 5-year mark, I don't know what a drum's gonna look like in 5 years. I can't guarantee that kit will always be that shiny. 5 years it may start to brown. And Micah's been on the road with Rio for a while, hot, cold, wet, rain. It's been fun to see what his does. And anything that's bright does darken. But nothing's gotten, like it still looks like his kit. It's not unrecognizable, it's just a little darker after a year of wear and tear
Yeah.
in the worst
I've
of
known
They all
guys
do
that,
Yeah, yeah. Well, everybody.
Everybody's kidding. I mean,
For sure.
even a wrapped,
Yeah. Yeah.
But people asking, like, we'll see. Mike is asking, how are these gonna hold up? In South Texas heat, are they gonna stay in tune?
You tell
I don't
me.
know. Never been in South Texas with a copper drum set.
But that's nice you've got them on a road like that, cause that,
It's been
Yes.
great to be able to have answers to those
yeah,
questions.
that's where they're tested.
And Micah's, he hits hard, like he does not baby them. I mean, they're nice cases, but when he's playing them, like they're out in the sun, he said you can fry eggs on them.
I
He
bet.
said it's the hottest thing you've ever touched.
See the tech? Probably just miserable.
Probably. But he said that they stayed in tune so much better than his wooden drums. And he said, but metal doesn't shrink and grow nearly as much as wood does with humidity and heat. So I was like, that makes sense.
Talk about your finish. I know guys that will buy a copper drum and immediately take the coating off of it,
Mhm.
so it will patina and,
Yeah.
and other drums.
And I'm kind of partial to that, honestly. Like I
Brass,
love
the same
true
way.
aged copper
Yeah.
is a finish you cannot replicate. Like actual years on a drum, like I could try to match it and get whatever hue comes out of it, but a real raw piece of copper, 5 years later, there's no way to artificially do it. You can get close, but you cannot match it. So I've got a few drums now that have some age on them. It's fun because where you grab them and your knuckles touch,
Yeah.
all that's getting way darker, all the way around the drum, and the middle's a little brighter. And it's just kind of getting not green yet. Just it's gonna be brown for 20 or 30 years before it gets green.
Huh.
But yeah, I'm kind of partial to that. I love the way copper does.
The other thing I noticed, all your drums have Evans heads on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, do you prefer that head? And is there a
At
reason
first,
for that?
at first, no. So I've never been brand specific, other than just just kind of play what I had at the time, or I wanted to try. I'd hear a band play. Let's use. I want to try these, and I've been through both as a player. I played Evans for a long time, and then I played a guy's kit that had coated Emperors on. I'm like, oh, that's money. Played those for a long time. They're both incredible. Long story short, as a brand that's trying to keep your costs low, I'm spending retail prices on drum heads and just putting that into my cost. And profit margin is very small already, and that just narrow profit margin. And so at the drum show, which is a cool feeling for me as a brand, the Evans guy and the Remo guy came over and were like, why do we not know about this? We need to start selling you drum heads at cost. So that's incredible. I would love to do that, because I reached out before and never heard an email back from either brand. But then when they saw them, the reps were like, they saw the attention that the booth was getting. And so that was cool. And long story short, I went with the Evans because their minimum buy quantity was so much lower.
Mm-hmm.
The Remo guys are super kind. Their gear's great. No shade, but their minimum buy-in, just as a company, way more than I could afford at the time. I might could do it now, but when I was first doing it, I was just nickel and dime, and Evans had a much lower buy-in. But truth be told, I don't know that I like one or the other the most, but I think Evans is easier to tune. So as a brand, like you're selling to people, most of the people you're selling to aren't A-list players that know how to tune drums. And I think it's easier to get a Remo head out of tune. I think that they've got a little more give. I don't know if it's the 360 technology. I don't know exactly what the factor is, but you can sour up a Remo pretty easily. And I'd hate for my drums to sound bad somewhere with a new guy. He's excited to have his new drums. He just cranks it. And so Evans, I do like better as just on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Playing wise though, like a coated Ambassador on the snare drum, like there's just no other sound like that.
I like those too.
I love a coated Ambassador on snare drum. If you don't see me here, but that's not, like I said, no shade to Remo whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you said something great earlier. You said every brand does something great, and I think that's true with cymbals. I think that's true with drum heads.
Yeah.
There's some drum heads that sound terrible all the way around. There's some drum heads and cymbals, like Sabian makes some terrible cymbals, and they make some of the best cymbals in the world.
Yeah.
I think every brand's gonna have that.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Drum heads are the same way.
For sure.
Drum heads are the same way. I really like the 2-ply head on the bottom. Like I told you, I have a kid at the house got the 2-ply head on the bottom of it, and they sounded fantastic. And this kid's got 2 plies on it, and it's wonderful.
And the next kit that I put on the shelf, because I just sold the 3-piece out of the Atlanta Drum Shop, I may try that on that one, just to see, and do it with the Evans on Evans to see if, am I hearing more of a Remo sound, or is it the double ply?
Yeah, it's funny because what we do is we just think that we need to put a single ply on the bottom of it because you want to get more ring out of it, and at the same time you're trying not to get ring out of your drum. You're putting something on there, and I'm like, why don't you just put a thicker head on the bottom, and it's probably gonna fix that problem. You don't have to put anything on the top of the head ever,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But we don't think that way.
No,
I always think we put the thinner head on the bottom and the thicker head
but
on
you
the
saying
top.
it that way makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played around with a 500 on the
I
bottom?
haven't.
I did that one time and it sounded good, not great. But the guy, it was a weird, I forgot what size drum it was. It was kind of, wasn't the drum to do it on. But I do want to play around. I bought a few of those. I haven't put them on drums yet, but.
I like to put it on a deeper drum. I mean a bigger drum.
Mhm.
I like to put a thicker head on the bottom.
I've used an Emperor on snare side before. Got it on a couple of drums just
Really?
to try it.
Mm.
And talk about putting the 2-ply on the bottom. I don't know what I was reading, where I read it, but I read that John Bonham played Emperor Coated over Emperor Clear, and that was all I needed to be like, all right, John can do it, so can Barry. I'm gonna try it, and I liked it, and I've got it on the kit I played at church. I'm gonna play again. I'm gonna sell those drums. I can't. I love them. I wish I could take them home with me.
Yeah.
I can't hear on stage. I can't. And I said something to my 83-year-old pastor. He goes, I don't like them. I said, you don't like them? Why not? He says, I can't hear the bass drum. I want to hear those drums. They need to be louder. I was like, all right. They sound great in the back of the room.
Yeah.
I can't hear on stage. And even when it's just a piano, because I've had to play with just a piano a couple times, can't hear. I can't. I got 2 monitors. I set up an extra. I got 2 monitors. I can't freaking hear. I had them turn it up. They said it's too loud in the room, so they turned it back down. I was like, no, I can't hear. So I just looked down. I said, I'm getting rid of them. I said, I'm bringing the exports back and putting. I had bought new heads for them and hadn't put them on yet, so I'm putting new heads on them and putting the exports back.
Yeah, those Emperor Smooths are cool. I used them on, I had a crush kit that I used those smooth Emperors on top, and they sound fantastic on there, on those drums.
I didn't even know those existed until he sent me those.
Yeah, I used them on the top. They sound really good.
Yeah, they're cool.
They sound really good. This combination here with the smooth on the bottom and the coated on the top,
Yeah.
that's a good sound.
Yeah.
That's a big John Bonham sound right
And
there.
Danny's very much in the Remo camp. Like because he knows I put Evans on everything. He said, I'm gonna send you heads that I want on there.
Yeah,
It'd be
well,
nice to
that's-
do that though and change them out and put Evans on there to see the difference in the sound of that tom.
And I've done that with snare drums. We've done some like control, like put it in here and got the same everything, 6.5 by 14, same hardware, same heads, just to kind of get the characteristics of each material. But yeah, that'd be fun to do with the toms too.
Do any of the ones you have that you brought, do any of them have the single ply on top and bottom right now?
Single ply on top.
I know, I prefer,
That's a 1-2 on here. That's a generic on here. That's,
to me, double ply always kills the drum a lot more than I
That's a
want it to.
single.
It's a
The
single
calf tone.
yeah, this one's a calf tone single, so it's
And
like
that
like an old school, like an old school head. That's a nice one.
and that head, I've fallen in love with those. Like I'll play that one wide open on one of these, and it's so delicate to play.
Yeah.
Like ghost notes for days, but you can put just one dampener on there and get that churchy big country sound out of it pretty easy too. Pretty versatile drum head. I was torn when I was putting it together because I wanted to just see how I've never put that head with a wooden hoop. Wanted to play around with that.
Yeah.
Then it was already going to be choked, so I wanted to put a lively head on there.
Yeah.
Kind of a cool combo.
That's pretty drum.
Super pretty.
Keeps rolling over behind.
I
I
know.
know. Yeah, it keeps creeping. Where'd that drum go?
I think somebody took there, man.
I do have one more fun story. That's it. Have I told you the Rick Beato story?
No.
You know who that is, I'm
Oh,
assuming.
yeah, yeah.
So, again, I didn't. Does everybody know who Rick Beato is?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I was unaware of that he existed, just because I don't know why I don't know things. But I'm at work doing the day job, I'm welding or whatever. It's hot, it's summertime, and Mike from the Atlanta Drum Shop calls me. Like he never calls me. He's used to text me, "Hey, I sold a drum," or "Hey, somebody's asking for a price." Calls me. "Hey man, what's going on?" He said, "Rick Beato's been playing your drum set for 10 minutes." I said, "Who's that?" He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I don't know who that is." He's like, "Who's he play for?" He said, "Look him up on YouTube, call me back." And so, oh, he's got whatever tens of millions of followers on YouTube, and I did a little scrubbing. Like, he's very opinionated, very knowledgeable, and his perfect pitch. And I got a quick dose. I'm like, "Huh, that's cool." And long story short is, Rick Beato's from Atlanta, or he lives in Atlanta now. And Mike said he was walking around he'll come in 2 or 3 times a year. If he hears a sound he doesn't own, he'll buy it. He'll spend whatever, a couple times a year, and I don't have this sound, put this on my tab. And he said he was walking, and he hits my 13 by 9 copper rack top. And Mike said he's just tapping around and hits it. He said, "Rick, it just stops." And he hits it again. It hits the floor tom. And then he hits the kick drum, and he said, "Mike," he said, what is this? He said, what is Lucky? What is this about? And Mike told him that I was a local builder. And to backtrack, so that kit that was on the floor, I was telling you I have lemon kits. That one, I misdrilled the kick drum spurs. So I'd only made 22 kick drums up until that point. Wanted to make a 24. And my pattern that I tried to make was for 22. Drilled it, and my kick drum had legs that were like this. I was like, that doesn't work. So to re-drill it, so on that kit, because of those extra 6 holes and some other cosmetic issues, display only. If you'd like to order a kit, contact Josh at Lucky and through the Atlanta Drum Shop. And he said, Rick wants to buy this drum set. I said, yeah, I can build him one. He said, no, he wants this drum set. I'm like, oh, but that's the worst drum set that I have. I said, I don't want that drum set to be in Rick Beato's studio. And he gets him on speakerphone, and I plead my case. He said, I'm only interested in the tones. He said, they're beautiful, but this sound, I really want the sound in my studio. And I said, can I make you a kit that's identical to that one and just swap it with you if you take that one with you? And he kind of went to say, he said, okay. And he did it. And so I build Rick Beato a drum set, and me and Mike, we're gonna go to Rick Beato's house and do a drum swap. And after this point, it's been 20 or 30 days. And I'm sweating bullets now because I've been watching hours of Rick Beato every night before I go to sleep. So I'm just terrified. You go in there and it looks like, like you'd expect, like you see on TV. And Rick's very nice, but he's very short. Not very talkative, not very smiley. Cool. And I'm just pouring sweat. Set up the new kit in there in his, famous studio. Right next to my terrible, crappy drum set that I'm just like, who's seen this over the last 30 days? Extra holes in it. And Rick's like, all right. He said, he starts tapping on the original one. He said, hit that one. Hit it. He's good tuning. In 5 or 6 minutes of nobody really saying anything, and him just hitting things, me hitting things, like kick it, kick it. Hit that floor tone. He'd go to the other side of the room and listen. And I'm just like, this is a nightmare. I just wanted to die. I wanted to be dead. And finally, he just threw his arms up. He said, okay. And then he just kind of came to life a little bit. He said, I was really dreading today because I was scared I was going to have to send you home with your new drum set and break your heart. He said, I didn't think you could replicate those tones that I heard. But he said, this new kit is even better than the first one. And so he took the new one.
Oh, that's great.
And I was like, can I video you saying that? I didn't ask him that. But that was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, that's great.
Terrifying. But it was cool. So now nobody can tell me anything about drum tuning. Like Rick said, my drum sounded great. I tuned them by ear. And so that's fun. So they're still there. And,
Really?
Yeah, he did the studio tour video a few months ago, and when he went to the drum room, I was terrified. I was like, they're gonna be in the back of the room, probably not even gonna see him. They were still on the floor a year later.
Really?
And he mentioned them by name.
Wow. That's
Wow.
Congratulations, man.
Awesome.
That's
Very
a big
cool.
deal.
And he told me, and
That's a feather in your cap right there,
it
bro.
is. And he's such a nice guy. Like after, because he was just scared he was gonna hurt my feelings. That's why I was kind of being short. He didn't want to be my best friend and then, break my heart. And very cool guy, super humble. And funny story, once he got chatting, he gave us the tour, and he's like, why are you building drums out of metal? Nobody does that. What are you doing? And I explained to him that I'm a welder and sheet metal, the whole story we talked about. He said, like fencing and gates? I said, yeah. He said, can you come look at the gate that goes into my yard? And so his gate had rusted, so I went back 2 weeks later and fixed Rick's gate. So day job, made some money off of it too.
That's great.
It's so funny. But yeah, he did offer. I didn't ask, just trying to play it cool. But he did say before I left after fixing the gate, he said, you'll probably see these on a video one day. So
There you go.
I would love that a lot.
That's awesome.
But I told him, I said, I'm just grateful that you took a chance with your money and invested in my brand. So
Yeah.
Very
he
cool.
He liked the sound of it. That's the greatest thing.
yeah, it's a cool selling point because that's a true story. Like I heard those words come out of his mouth. He said, I didn't think you could replicate those tones, and I didn't know if I could either because I've never tried to make the exact same thing twice.
Right.
At that point, it was pretty early. Those were Gen 2s.
That's a 24.
That exact spec size right here,
Oh,
but
really?
in copper.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Which are the most popular. That's if you go see Diamond Rio, that's the setup he's doing, but he's got a second 14-inch floor tom in addition.
Is that 11 by 13? Yeah, that's 11 by 13.
The depth on it, you mean?
Yeah, the depth is that.
That's 9,
9, isn't
Mhm.
it? It looks big.
which is the money size. 13 by 9. Now the one that's in Drum Supply, I don't know if I told you this or not, it's the exact same kit you've got, except for I shaved 2 inches off of all of the depths. Just because I wanted to see what that would do. So I knew what that drum set sounded like. I was like, I want to see what this does. And they just don't sing quite as long,
Yeah,
is the story. Like they're a little bit faster.
yeah. The 8 by 12 is my favorite tom-tom size.
And I think that's what that one is.
The 8 by 12, that's my favorite tom size.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the 13, though I'm becoming a fan of the 13.
Yeah, and I understand. I never liked the 12s until I started playing through mics in different rooms where you've got good ears and you can kind of hear the drums better. And like the 13 kind of gets lost sometimes, and you can get a lot more the tonal
You can tune-
separation.
Yeah, you can tune that drum in different places. But
Exactly.
That thing, it doesn't sing.
Because I was in the other camp, I don't like 12-inch rack toms until you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
Like I wasn't a Ringo Starr fan for a while. I was in the camp of Ringo's probably overrated, whatever. Then I joined a Beatles tribute band, have to learn everything note for note. Like, oh no, there's a lot more here than I thought there was.
yeah.
He's pretty good at playing drums, turns out. And I always, you hear the songs and you just think it's just 1, 2. No, that kick pedals, he's clever in his use of the kick drum and like the upswing on the,
Yeah, his hi-hat work is really great, man.
yeah, and they want me to windshield wiper it, they gotta look the part, and
Yeah,
it's half acting, half drumming, it's so fun.
yeah.
Because who doesn't wanna be Ringo?
Yeah, he used to do, he thought he was gonna do it this year, it was the Derby Dinner Playhouse.
Yep.
He's been here to play the Derby Dinner Playhouse.
Played it every year for the past 5 years, and then like, I invited him, I'm like, hey, we'll be back. And then Mike tells me, it's like, actually, we booked the other band that you're not in. They do like the British takeover, they cover the Monkees, everything else. They're playing there. It's like, oh, so
That's a
had to
bummer.
break your heart, so I'm not
Yeah,
coming to
I
play
was
the
like,
Derby.
"Oh, no."
Abbey Road.
What's that?
Coming to Abbey Road.
They've done it. I've never played down with them. Adam's the normal Ringo. He's played it with them.
Are they based in Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the Beatles tribute world is the most hilarious niche of music that I didn't know existed. They all trade members. Like we played a gig, and Mike called up the 1964, the Fab Four. It's like, can we borrow your Paul for Saturday, September the? And so they sent us a Paul, and everybody's singing the same parts in the same keys. And so they're like, "Do Can't Buy Me Love? We're doing both courses at the end. Yep, done." And he played it like he's been playing with them for 20 years.
Amazing.
It's hilarious. And he's not a lefty, and he learned the parts lefty on bass.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it?
Unreal.
Yeah.
Like, I hope you're not paying me the same you're paying him, because that's crazy.
That's a
To
next
sing
level.
Paul harmonies and play wrong-handed bass parts like that.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're talented dudes. They're really good at what they do.
I had to do a gig. There's a Paul McCartney guy in Chicago, and he called me a week before Abbey Road and said, "Hey man, my drummer can't make it. Can you do?" I do 3 different Paul McCartneys. I go, okay. What do you do? He goes, I do early Beatles, late Beatles, and then Wings. And I said, all right, how many songs is it? He's like, well, it's like 20 songs in each one of those sets, like 60 songs. And
Some of the
in
songs
one
early
week.
Beatles were 2 minutes long.
yeah, in 1 week, and I was like, well, can you send me? Yeah, I got cassette tapes. I said, yeah, man, send me your cassette tapes. And next day I get this big thing, cassette tapes. I have to go through and chart all this stuff, because the wing stuff I wasn't that familiar with.
Yeah, I
at
wouldn't
all.
be either, for sure.
And I had to learn all that stuff in a week. No rehearsal,
A
one
week is
rehearsal,
crazy.
one rehearsal.
Yeah, I had a few
One
months before
time.
my first one.
And play, and it was like 3 nights in a row. Like one night was the early Beatles, next one was the late Beatles.
Oh, really?
And then I did the Paul and the Wings thing. Same guy.
That's the sweaty gig.
Oh,
That's a lot of
dude, I
material.
got done with that. I was like, and I was playing at church that weekend. And so I played my church gig on Saturday, went to that gig and played on Saturday. Then went to my church gig on Sunday, played 2 times on Sunday morning, and then went and played that gig with the Wings thing. I was like, I had to learn the church stuff and that stuff all in 1 week. I was like,
That's a lot.
Never want to do this again, ever.
You'd do it again. You know you would.
No, my brain doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah, the Beatles thing, there was 0 rehearsing.
Mm.
So Mike told me, say, hey, a few months from now, and I had played a couple church gigs with him. He liked the way I played. He knew I would learn the material and try to be professional, or pretend to be. And so we show up to the venue. I haven't shaved my beard in years. I would look ridiculous. And I'm nervous, you know. I'm in a theater, a sold-out theater in South Carolina. And sound check, I'm like, all right, we're gonna, you know, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, show's at 7. We're gonna run some of these songs, because I am scared. They did about half of 6 songs, and that was it.
Yeah,
Of a
yeah.
90-minute set. I'm like,
Yeah.
so the first time they heard me play half of these songs, or the most of the songs, was on stage as the Beatles. Like, so scary.
Yeah, I did one of those with the first time I played with Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Same thing. He sent me all the stuff, and I made charts. And then we played a baseball field in south of Atlanta, and I just showed up. We played like 2 songs at soundcheck, and that was it.
And that was it.
And I was like, "Are you serious? That's all we're doing?"
That's a rough feeling.
Yeah, and you're like, there's, you know, 5,000 people at this thing, and I'm like, this is it's gonna be awful.
Yeah, those next few hours were,
Yeah.
I was stressing.
Yeah, I felt pretty good once I got down. I was like, God, I did a pretty good job. I made it through it.
That's,
Didn't
yeah,
make
when you
one
don't ruin
mistake.
it, it feels good.
Yeah, you're like, that's pretty good.
Half the problem with that gig though is I wear the stupid high heel boots, and Mike's a stickler for appearances, so he's got the same stool that's way too high, a little hard plastic seat.
Oh.
He's got the same stick, like everything is authentic. So I'm just trying not to fall over most of the gig in these high heel boots I've never worn. Trying to,
And you're tiptoeing off that high
and you got me
throne.
cowbell in that one song, and I'm just like, oh my God, why? It's so scary. But also the most fun, because when the lights came on, all the dudes that have been hanging out with all day, they turned into the Beatles.
Yeah.
Because they were just, you know, whatever, guys from middle Georgia.
What era of Beatles are you on?
They do
mutton chops or
they do both. So they do an Ed Sullivan intro and do a first 45 minutes like that. Then the last half's a psychedelic set. They do some deep cuts. They do all the hits you'd expect. They'll pull out like I'm the Walrus and do fun stuff like that too.
That's cool.
They're a great show if you ever get a chance to see them. The Beatles Return.
That's really cool. I've not seen that, the Beatles Return. I've
Yeah,
seen
they're
69
great.
a million times.
They've been doing it a long time, and they know all those guys. It's funny, like our George went and played with them. Like
That's just so
hilarious.
weird.
Because
Matt,
all of
you
your
remember Revolver?
Yeah,
Used to be
yeah.
around here.
Mhm.
My cousin was the drummer.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
Nice.
Michael Lewis,
Wow.
and I don't know how bald he is, but he wears a rug. He always wears a rug. It's not a good rug. It's just not.
If I was gonna wear a rug, I'd wear a Beatles rug.
But
Just
he
wear a
had
Beatles-
one.
Yeah.
He had one,
Beautiful.
and whoever the cat was that played John had short hair, and then he come out with the long straight hair.
Oh, yeah.
And I only seen them one time. They played on a flatbed trailer opening pizza place out in Taylorsville, Hometown Pizza. But yeah.
That's crazy.
And side note, I asked him about buying his Ringo kit, and he says, "Man, I don't think I'll sell it to you, but you can probably have it when I die." So I'm like, "All right," because he's 20 years older than me, 18 years older than me, something like that. So I might be having me
Still
a.
hanging in there, yeah.
Yeah, he bought it from somebody in California back in the early 80s, or 60s, early 60s.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Those kids are hard to find.
I ain't forgot about that. I need to remind him next family
You
reunion.
get something, yeah.
You still
get
got that Beatles kit, man? We
something
need.
on paper, maybe.
Yeah, right. Make sure somebody knows about this other than me and you.
Yeah, we need to witness this conversation.
Yeah, you videotape that, man. You need to get that. That's
See, I'm
cool.
not just a Pearl guy. Just, you know.
I know that. Awesome. Well, let's hear it for John.
Thanks for coming, bro. Appreciate it. Love to hear about it.
Thank you guys.
Good
This is-
stuff.
Every time I see you guys post this, I was like, I wish this was close where I live. This looks like the most fun thing to do.
Yeah,
Just
you
a bunch of drummers hanging out talking drums.
That's all it is. Guys talking drums, playing drums, talking drums, and
Yeah, we didn't do enough playing tonight, so next time I come up here, we'll play some music.
you just come. We'll have you up maybe when we do us karaoke. That's always fun.
That
When you
looks
come
like a
through,
good
yeah,
time.
because the Chicago, like around the Chicago show,
Mid-May.
yeah, we're gonna have. I haven't announced this yet, but we're gonna have. I don't know if you guys know who Zach Bruce is. You know who that guy is?
yeah, jazz guy.
He's a smoking.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a Latin guy. He plays everything. He's a really smoking guy. and he's
What was his name again?
Zach
He's,
Grooves.
he's a big YouTube guy.
He's a
Zach.
big
What say his last?
Grooves.
Grooves. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Zach Grooves. Yeah, he's a big YouTube.
Nice.
He was like, yeah, so he'll be here around that time frame because he's doing the Chicago Drum Show.
Cool. So it's probably that same Thursday. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think he may come in the week before or the week after. We don't know yet.
Yeah. Either way, if it overlaps, I'll just come warm the bench and hang out.
Yeah, we'll have fun.
We don't have to make it a lucky night. That's for sure. We
Yeah.
did that today.
Yeah, I'm glad you
I'll still
came.
bring toys if I come by.
Thank you. I love this. Bring us some of those unlucky drums.
Yeah, I'll do that. And I'm definitely gonna send you, like, you know, you sell some stuff, get your regular shipment coming out this way.
Yeah, yeah.
Do that,
That'd
but-
be great. Yeah, so I don't know what we're keeping. I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing that, I wanna take this one back and refinish it. This
Yeah.
has been here for over a year.
Yeah,
And, didn't move, and it's kind of a boring brushed copper like everybody else is doing, so I'm gonna take it back and I'm gonna make it a lucky.
yeah, that'd be great.
And then, the steel, the heavy monster, I've gotta
Yeah,
take
take
it back with me.
Yeah, and this kid's going,
And I can only leave you 115, cause, Andy wants one of those,
okay.
but, you get a pick.
I gotta plan first.
I like that small one.
Which one?
If I
Little
could pick
baby?
a drum in the room, I'd actually take that. The
This
first
13?
one they,
No, this one.
that one.
Oh, this little guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what that thing sells for? What's
Yeah,
the
this
street
one's
price?
350.
Yeah, that's a good deal for that little drum.
That's a nice little drum.
Yeah, I don't
Twice
have,
as much as the 15.
yeah, I don't have a sticker price on everything, but do you remember what you have on this one?
I don't know.
Let's
Remember.
see. Yes, that's a little on the cheaper side because of the
Yeah,
basic
yeah, 'cause
finish,
that
yeah.
same finish, yeah.
Yep, so this one, like that one with the copper badge, that one probably go north right at 6
Mm-hmm.
for the same setup with a
Yeah.
little bit of a cooler finish.
Yeah.
And then that one will be a little less, so that one will probably be 575 if you kept one with the triple
What
flange.
about this one?
Yeah, that one, what do you think?
I'm not gonna say
You're
what
like, I
I
think like
think.
$300.
I was thinking about 150.
If it's 300, I'll go
Right.
ahead.
He's
All
gonna
right.
take
I
it
got
right
a weird.
now.
I got a weird question.
Yeah, so anything wood hoops, that's probably gonna be 650 if it was on the shelf, somewhere in the 650 range.
Yeah.
Why do you have nylon straps on some and ribbon on others? Just curious.
So, Andy at Drum Supply, he's like, he's just not a fan of the tape. He said, I don't like that. I like to use the ribbon.
I
think
like
it's-
the ribbon.
And so, ever since he pointed me that direction, I fell in love with it. It's gonna change the look of the drums, and I love that it stretches a little bit. There's a little bit of give, and that they dance a little nicer.
Something to adjust if you really need to, that's fine.
Right.
A little more tension on that.
And I hate the string. I don't like the type of string that I'm not a pirate. I don't do that well. But it's like, you'll see some of my old ones, like these Gen 2s, they'll still have it, but yeah, anything Gen 3
Anything
or
new
later.
got ribbon?
That's right.
I was looking at A&F drum.
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot of copper stuff too.
Sure. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you how can you justify the $3,000 for one? Like their snare drums, like similar to those, like
So truth be
Sizes?
told, I've never actually held one.
Three
Oh,
days
yeah.
for a drum.
So I've seen them.
I've seen. I've never
I'm
seen
assuming
them.
they're making their lugs
seats.
and stuff from
Oh.
scratch, but I don't know. If they're doing that, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I would assume you got a lot of hours machining, hand tooling stuff.
Their hardware looks real unique. Like
Yeah, and that would be. I mean,
So they're
you know, I'm paying just a few dollars a piece for stuff from Taiwan, whereas they're
I seen
paying
one
an
online
American
one day. I was
worker.
like, I'm gonna check those out. And I was
15,
like,
20 bucks an
$3,000
hour.
is way too much.
Yeah, I played one of those kids.
Are they good?
Yeah, they're nice. They
They're-
sound
They're
nice.
beautiful. They look
I don't-
nice.
I
Yeah,
don't know
they're
anything about
really
their bearing
cool
yet.
looking.
Just what I don't even know.